Matt, you did have a funny joke about the Patriots Super Bowl victory made white America so happy that they digitally altered the Dr. Dre's kid into a white guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can finally watch this show.
Wait.
I wasn't going to watch it, but now I can watch it.
The protagonist of the new 24 is Dr. Dre from Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's his son, right?
Oh, okay.
That's his actual son.
No, I know that the guy that played Ice Cube was his son.
Oh, so it isn't.
I don't know if that's Dr. Dre's
I didn't
son.
see that movie. I didn't see that movie, even though it has my boy Giamatti in it.
It was good.
It was good. Yeah,
I
it was
enjoyed
long,
it.
but it was good.
It was his role.
It's definitely Cube's actual son. I don't think it's Dre's.
What was Giamatti's character called in the credits? A scheming Jew? What's that?
Yeah. Jerry Heller.
I know, but I mean, did he ever do the hand?
That's a pretty scheming Jew name.
Yeah, Jerry Heller.
Yeah.
Did he do the hand gesture?
Well, famously on
you know who I saw today? Who I had lunch with today?
Who?
Ben Fogel.
Who's that? Jared Fogel's brother?
I thought she was
No, but remember you met him? He's also South African.
Oh,
and
that
and you
guy,
tested,
Yeah. I'll meet the South African. Yeah.
Yeah.
You tested out your accent on him for approval.
Yeah, well, I lived there when I was a kid.
I know, but I thought it was funny that you were like, please validate my childhood accent.
I'm really obnoxious whenever I meet another South African, especially a South African Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just watch Lethal Weapon and you've got the lighters going.
Lethal Weapon 2.
I know.
Yeah,
We all
Lethal
know
Weapon
which
2.
one.
I totally forgot. I just
Look at the room.
I just redid it.
That's why I learned my South African accent.
It's a really difficult accent. There
It's
are no
one of the hardest
diphthongs.
ones. You can't do it.
A lot of pure vowels.
It's like you try to start with New Zealand and then you pretend you had a stroke.
I like the Leo's version of it in the Blood Diamond.
Blang, it's not the bing bing, it's the blang blang.
Blang blang.
Yeah.
In America, it's bling bling. In Africa, it's bang bang. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I guess so.
His is much softer though. He has actually a very pleasant South African accent.
Leo?
It can be kind of no.
Yeah, Dr. Dre's
Ben
Straight Outta
does.
Compton,
Yeah.
not actually Dr. Dre's
Not
son.
Dr. Dre's son. Right, okay.
You thought they were all their kids, including Easy E's out of pocket kid. They did like a mass DNAing of bastard kids in southern Los
I thought it
Angeles
was,
to find Easy E's kid.
NWA, the next generation.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the M in Muppet stands for.
I'm just trying to find these fucking dumbass articles again.
I did, I watched Being There also.
Oh, this is more
week.
part of your homework? Yeah?
Yeah. That's not part of my homework. That was just something I did this week. Yeah. All right. I mean, I used to say it was the Bush movie, but now it's the Trump movie, right? Is that what everyone's saying?
Yeah,
That's
just
the
a
smart
mentally
take.
handicapped person blundering around and people ascribing meaning to his meaningless gibberish.
Exactly.
I think it is more appropriate for Trump because all of Bush's non-extemporaneous talk, that was always, well-crafted stuff from GOP think tanks, like the
that he
heart
fucked up terribly.
the heart of establishment conservatism. Trump is literally just rambling gibberish.
Yeah.
Like he had the thing today where he said,
with Bush, it was like a game of telephone that he wasn't very good
Exactly.
at, but the actual information.
yes, he was like a transmitter for a coherent thing. He is just gibberish. It's like a computer that's winding down. I mean, did you see today where he's in front of the troops or something and he's like, I understand things. I'm one of the best people in the world at processing information and understanding things. I mean,
Oh, yes, please.
it's like he spent 10 minutes defending his ability to think, which you should probably not have to do as president.
Yeah, that's protesting a little too
It's
much.
protesting way too much.
I'm smart.
Yeah, that's the Fredo thing. I'm smart, like they say.
Wait a second.
Oh my god.
Oh, too many people.
He is so the Fredo.
Get
down
he's
over here.
Fredo as hell.
Get down over here.
Didn't it recently come out that the whole narrative about Cheney being like the evil emperor and stuff is like sort of bullshit, and that Bush was kind of thought he was the decider and wasn't listening to Scowcroft and fucking
Probably way
Jim
more so
Baker
in the
and shit.
second Bush administration. But I
Really?
think Cheney was pretty much in the driver's seat.
Yeah, the
for
second term, I think it's
In the first one?
In the first term, he was because Bush kind of was way over his head
But I do think we're slightly comforted by that narrative that we're like, oh, this flailing idiot couldn't be in charge for real. It has to be like
we're doing it now with Bannon.
Yeah, they're projecting all the same thing on Bannon.
And it's like, what? How is that better?
Yeah, it really is, because it doesn't matter in any
No, it doesn't matter.
I mean, but the thing is that Cheney got sort of pushed out in the second term because I think his ego got bruised. Like, I'm the president here, which is a process that I think is happening with Trump, but like on a super fast time scale.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think in 2 weeks, if he sees one more headline of Bannon being the brains, he's like, he's out of here. No,
It's a good attack.
I'm the one. I'm the president.
I mean, like, look at the two personalities between Trump and Bannon. You can't have two obese rich guys occupy the same space. Like, it sounds like I'm joking, but it's serious. Like, they are going to fall out.
They just come in the room bringing in bigger and bigger cigars.
Yeah,
Every meeting, by the end of it, they're just like holding like a fucking like, Yugo-sized cigar, and it's just like this extended phallic symbol.
They're making just uninterrupted eye contact across the room, shitting while eating party subs. Yeah.
No, I absolutely, I totally believe that they're going to butt heads sooner, if not later.
It's a good line of attack because it like goes against Trump's ego, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, this is a deal where traditionally you would say it doesn't matter. You have centers of power and where ideology is flowing from. But we really are in a new era. And one of the things about it is that there is no guiding ideology or interest group that has like a pervading power. It is one man's misfiring, dying brain.
Yeah. and he's easily shook.
Yeah. Oh God, so rattled.
I don't think it will actually benefit us in any way.
No, we're doomed no matter what.
Yeah,
it'll be entertaining.
It is fun, and also it will destabilize them a little bit. He can't keep a solid collection of people around him. It's worth trolling him.
I mean, yeah, it's like this is the only politician where mean tweets actually do affect him.
This is the first trollable president.
And did you see that state
Because he
senator
is a troll, and he is mad online.
It's true.
The state senator who is like, listen, you epic cock monkey shit fucker. He like did a bunch of Reddit insults. But I was going to go back a little bit. I mean, look at the process of how he does things. In the previous administration on this time, when we were conducting operations in Yemen, it would be Obama with like Susan Rice and people who are also pieces of shit. But there would be like this process to evaluate, like, which 16-year-old are we going to fucking blow up? But with Trump, he's like eating McDonald's with Jared and some other fucking shithead.
He's like, the TV is on full blast. I can't even talk over it.
He's watching like fucking he's watching
Montel Williams.
He's watching Montel or E with Jared. He's like, I tried to fuck Judy fucking whatever from Entourage, but she wasn't going. Okay, I tried to buy an ottoman with her. But, sometimes you just can't let him open up. And Jared is just accidentally spilling salt everywhere. And this is the circumstance in which they're like, let's send in 50 Navy SEALs into a compound. And they ended up getting like 30 fucking people killed.
Yeah, and they got 10-year-old documents that are absolutely worthless.
Yeah, that little girl was really
cute. Trying to kill.
Yeah.
The way to pick just the absolute worst little girl to kill. I mean, they could have picked a far less cute little girl to murder.
But because of how fucked up that operation was, like Yemen has withdrawn permission for us to operate counterterror ops in there. Like, we're still going to run Black Ops, but the cost and difficulty of the missions are going to get much worse. Much more people are going to get killed, which makes those Navy SEALs who are running that Trump flag on their fighting vehicle hilarious. Because, get us killed.
He's gonna order him into the mouth of a active volcano, and they're like, "God bless you, sir."
All right, your commander for this mission is Jared Kushner, and signed Starfleet commander. Okay, so you're gonna want to press Y to enter the vehicle. Press down on the D-pad to switch between Franklin and Michael. Hit both sticks for your slow-mo ability.
I mean, I do think it's pretty adorable that the four martyrs of Benghazi occupied this huge psychic space on the right for 4 years, and this Navy SEAL who got killed basically because Obama Trump thought he was like doing a Splinter Cell run and it was real. that's like fine. It's like that's sacrifice we're willing to make.
It's fine because I'll tell you why it's fine. It's because they're on the offense. God damn it!
Yeah.
They're not playing
Yeah.
defense
And also
anymore and
people
just dying because of
people want
easy
war
errors.
like in the movies.
Yeah,
Like,
That's true. Yeah, that is offense and it wasn't defense. That
Yeah.
is a distinction.
we're on the march.
yeah, and I mean, I think that there is something sort of. I don't want to say it's like encouraging, but even like right wingers, they don't like the idea of drone warfare. They at least want it to look like a movie,
Yeah,
like because they're like this is boring video game nerd shit.
it's war for nerds.
Yeah.
It's about stats and it's
Yeah.
not about your gut.
Yeah.
It's not about instinct. I suppose I should officially start the show at this point.
Oh,
But-
yo.
Hey,
The
We're
old free-form cold open. a
Yeah,
classic.
exactly.
That's how we do
keeping
it.
it loose. We're keeping it loose this episode because our guest, Adam Friedland of Cumtown,
What's up?
number one cum boy, Adam Friedland.
Dicks out for Harambe. Thanks for having me.
Brandon Burdell, everybody. Brandon Burdell.
Everyone, we know that Brendan Wardell was your favorite episode, and we're trying to recreate that energy here.
Yeah, it feels so good to walk on, in the footsteps of giants. Like, what did you have? Tim Heidecker this week, and Jeremy Scahill and Wardell, and like it feels so. These are the minds of contemporary society, and I am definitely one of them. I'm definitely
it's been a long time coming.
a really smart cum boy.
So you're the one who puts the own in Cumtown.
This is your
God.
opportunity to show that you're not just a pretty cum face.
Oh god. It's fake though, because like my whole brand is that I'm smart, but I'm actually really stupid. I'm good at like convincing someone on the bus that I'm smart, but I'm not good at like actually maintaining intelligence.
That's
like
the Costanza.
Nick and Stav's whole brand is that they're dumb, but they're actually very smart guys. So I think that's sort of the dynamic between
Adam-
us.
I realized
Adam-
this yesterday, though. Like, Cumtown is more of a product of red diaper babies than Chapo.
Yeah, kind of.
What is that? Red diaper baby.
It means you come from like
communists.
radicals or leftists or whatever. But like, so
I don't know.
your parents opposed apartheid. They kind of suck now, but
They're at MSNBC now.
yeah, but they were.
my dad yelled at me yesterday.
And then Stav's grandmother literally had to like run out of Greece because she's a communist and they dropped a dime on her. But luckily, apparently they only sent like the worst Nazis to Greece and they were really bad at genociding people.
Wait, Adam, what did your dad get mad at you about the other day?
I told him that I'm doing this like my friend's big podcast. It's a politics podcast, and so then he called me up really pissed off last night, and he's like, There are two things that we should be focusing for the resistance." And I was like,
Oh
"What?"
my god.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, "Oh
So
God."
wait a minute, your dad went
What
from
is it?
Joe Slovo
Yeah.
to Keith Olbermann,
Oh,
basically.
yeah. He's fucking Morning Joe right now. I mean, we elected a guy that shouts at the television. Like I wouldn't want my father to be the president. He's pretty much the same as that, but he believes that. Yeah, he wants us to get the tax returns, which Trump has said, I won. You're not going to get the tax
That's
returns.
the nerdiest
You're
ass
not
thing.
required
Yeah.
to give out the tax
And then
returns.
to get the information on how Russia hacked the election, because then they could get rid of Trump. So
Dad
Dad, I
like
said
that.
it. I said your thing, but yeah. And then I was like, you can't do my homework. I'm fucking 30 years old. You're still trying to write my college essays right now. This is ridiculous.
It's good. It's like a Philip Roth
I'd
novel.
like to dedicate this gym to Adam's father.
Yeah, shout out.
Chapo fans, got to get the tax returns. Got to get those Russian
Yeah,
dollars.
get
Let's
it-
get it
get
out
it
there.
there.
Spread it. Tweet about it. RT. Make it happen.
We
Bring it
gotta
up. Call
say
your
yes.
congressman.
We
Call
gotta
your
say
senator.
yes to Comrade Putin and his
I just like that
schemes.
this is someone who at one point like opposed apartheid when it was dangerous, and now he wears a Speedo to the beach and yells
still
about
wears Speedo.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then he's like really mad at Bernie still, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. He can't watch Curb because it's like watching himself. So it just makes it, he shouts at the television. He just
And then he yells about tax returns.
Get your life together, man. Get your life together. You're a mess.
So that's Adam. So, and then you said Stav's mom had to flee Greece because she was
his
a red.
grandmother. Yeah,
Oh,
she
his
was a
grandmother.
red, and
Okay.
like apparently someone ratted her out, and she had to go to Bulgaria or some shit, someplace worse than Greece.
Okay.
And he said the only saving grace is that apparently the Nazis they deployed to Greece were like the fail Nazis, and they were not good at tracking people down.
And Nick's dad was actually Nicolae Ceausescu.
It's true.
Yeah.
In
A lot of people
Romania.
don't know that.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm actually you are considered the smart one on Come Down Erroneously.
It's true.
I'm actually the dumbest member of Chapo.
We know.
Yeah, I know. I've read 3 books. I count Dune as 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I'm
It's a big
responsible.
book.
I'm responsible for Adam getting roasted about something because
What was that?
after the Chapo election night show when everyone was
Oh
just,
no!
when we were wandering, I was like, I had like $600 from the bar. I was just wandering the street. I was going into CVS to buy like protein powder because I was like, there has to be a bright spot. I at least can have whey protein with the creatine mixed in when I wake up tomorrow. But Adam was like, what do we do now? And not even thinking because like I had forgotten how shitty she was, like her BJP connection.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I could run fucking Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, you said Tulsi Gabbard or Keith Ellison,
Or
so you were half.
Keith, I was right about one, but
Yeah.
I wasn't even like thinking. And Adam, like, who
He took
didn't
the ball and ran
didn't
with it.
listen to Chapo closely enough and didn't realize that outside of like maybe 2 subjects, I don't know anything. And like most of my contributions are just one-liners that are good but get us yelled at all the time. He was like, "Yeah, no, I could trust Felix," and then the entire podcast roasted him because Tulsi did
ethno
Tulsi.
nationalist.
Well, I yeah. The episode, our episode after the election was like, I think maybe one of our most popular ones, although it's like the most off-brand. Like we're not doing
It
any
was very moving.
racial stereotypes. We're not doing any. I think actually I shit on Israel a little bit at the end, but
Self-hating Jew is
but
a
then yeah,
stereotype.
I have this mark of shame that that I'm so ashamed that I advocated for this modiest fucking bloodthirsty like psycho. She's hot though. I mean like I honestly brought her up because I was like I still would though. I still would though. But whatever, dude. That was the only bad part of the whole thing. The whole episode. I've ruined other Come Town episodes much worse, so I'll take that one. But that night was so funny because I went to the Chapo thing. I remember one of my clearest memories of election night was we're at the bar and Will just ate a weed lollipop and I was like super high and in shock. Everyone's in shock. And I look over at Will and just everyone in the bar is like on the verge of tears and he's like, this is like that picture of France the day after the Nazis took over and all the French people's faces are just like, what the fuck is going on? That's literally how everyone in that Brooklyn bar
No,
looked.
it's the famous shot of that one guy just rolling. That's what that bar felt like.
Hell yeah.
That's the
thing I
cover of
was-
the episode.
Smoking weed.
I drank like a ton of beers. I was totally
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you shouted
you were
at-
screaming
Dude,
"cum
you
eater"
shouted-
at the
John
bar,
Podesta
and
went up to
everyone
Podesta.
was you were screaming "cum eater" and
At
almost
Podesta.
falling over.
Wait a minute, what?
The stumbling,
no,
Wait,
dude,
Podesta, wait, you know,
limping drunk
what
that you
happened?
are.
Podesta goes up and he's like, because Hillary's too much of
No,
a
I didn't
coward
do
to
that.
face her donors.
No, I
Wait,
didn't do
Podesta
that.
goes up and he's like, it's still very close. They're still counting. Everyone go home. Please go home. Please.
Yeah.
She's fucking tearing the green room apart. Please go home.
Yeah.
Please.
And you were like, "You cum eating
Yeah.
child fucker!"
Matt, was
I did that?
It,
And
yeah,
know
you
what?
did
The
that.
weird thing was, I was like, "Shit, we're gonna get kicked out of the bar." But the bartenders just kind of looked at him and were like, "You know what? We're all having a bad day."
Yeah,
Wait a
Matt.
minute, I
Yeah,
honestly don't remember.
You didn't
this.
just say that. When we all took a cab home, we take a cab home at like fucking 4:30.
And you were in the front next to the poor, terrified cab driver.
I was like, I was using my spectrum ability. I was the least distraught, not because I didn't think it was awful.
No, but you
because-
got that autist focus, which was very helpful in
Yeah,
stabilizing
a
for us.
combination of autism and my talent as an athlete, which is absurd confidence in the face of things that, I always think I'm going to win.
Yeah, Matt and I decided it was the end of the world and we were gonna party
Yeah,
joyfully.
so I was in the car and I was like, "Hey guys, why don't we get sandwiches? That'll cheer everybody up." And so I was ordering the sandwiches.
You
and I
like
was
Marge Simpsoning us?
I am, yeah. And I was like, "So, how about a club sandwich? How about that? Yeah, this place is good." And Matt, like, there's just stony silence, so I just order for everyone. And then after 5 more minutes of silence, when we finally get to our block, Matt just yells, "This is like if fucking Grimace was president."
Also, when that same conversation where you said Tulsi Gabbard, she's the troops, she's pretty hot. That same conversation, there's this black dude out on the block, like, comes up to us and he's like, "Hey, my man, can I get some money?" And you're like, you had all that fucking Genius like live show money, so you handed him like $40.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, thanks." And then he daps up the bouncer at the bar we were at. And they're like, "Oh, are you on this shift?" He's like, "Nah, I'm not working tonight." He's like, he wasn't homeless. He was just some dude that worked at the bar
Yeah, that guy
we
rules,
thought was
though.
handling.
I'm not even mad at that. That's
No,
a great move.
That guy was, yeah.
As somebody
Wow.
who used to work at a
I'm
bar,
learning a lot tonight.
dude, as somebody who
White people felt so bad that
You were like
Yeah, you were
stumbling.
blacked out, dude.
Yeah.
as somebody who used to work at a bar, I wish that some moron from a podcast who made an undeservedly high income came in and thought I was homeless and,
Yeah, selling like PBR and T-shirts.
Yeah.
To an event that really went south.
Dude, that night was so funny. Yeah, I can't believe he was the president.
I still sometimes I'm like,
LOL.
oh yeah.
LOL, dude. He's like so polluted. I mean, like, Twitter is now all about Trump, and like he's so polluted my subconscious. Like, he's just part of me. I have dreams about him now. I literally.
Oh no, there's an article about that Catherine Liu wrote because all of these people were having dreams about Donald Trump.
I have dreams
It's
about
like
him like
Cthulhu.
once a week. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
she's like a
he
Marxist Freudian, and
represents-
she's like, this is a
he
manifestation of your anxiety. He has
Yeah.
come to represent every threat.
Well, exactly, because
something like that. I kinda skipped it. It was a little
He
smart.
is the rough beast slouching towards Bethlehem. He is an apocalyptic figure in some sense. Maybe not like apocalypse, but like he is a era defined. A new era has dawned with his emergence. Like you can't.
He's a fat
It's not the
diapered
same country.
horseman.
Yeah, he's a fat diapered orange horseman. We cannot. So like that kind of trauma of like seeing history get broken in front of you, like seeing a tear in reality as you understood it just open up in front of you, that's going to create some serious psychic trauma.
Yeah.
That is then going to be expressed through just this constant like image
It's
of
like
him in your
suddenly
head.
learning-
It'll,
it's
it'll
like
create a
suddenly
psychic
learning-
trauma so intense that you won't remember it, and it'll be described to you months later on a
I gotta say, I remember when we got back, because I got back to my place after that. I remember throwing that sandwich we got in the garbage when I got out of the cab.
Dunking.
I'm sorry, but I like brought it with me, and I had it in the car, and I had a conversation with my driver. We were like, "Can you fucking believe this?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I can't fucking believe this." And I got out of the thing, and I'm like walking towards. I'm like, "I can't eat this," and I just fucking threw it in a pile of
Wow,
trash.
that's shocking.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, but I don't remember this thing at the end of the.
Oh my
at
god!
the
I
bar.
remember you kind of like leaning against a tree, but the tree was more of a sapling. So like I'm like he's gonna fall in the mulch. Let's stand over here. So you put your arm around me, and I remember thinking, I am actually not physically big enough to hold him up. Like if he takes a hard fall, and then I think Nick intervened and like picked up the other side, and we sort of.
Fuck,
Matt,
any
I
of
would
this.
have carried you like in an officer and a gentleman if you asked.
No, and like in the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Because he's the troubled artist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was
Yeah,
thinking
he's
because
I'm definitely not anyone. I don't work at a fucking factory. That's for sure.
No.
the next day after that, like I did the nostalgia trap with David Parsons. Shout outs out to David Parsons. And my cab driver. This is a very Thomas Friedman moment. My
Yeah.
cab driver.
But there really are like
They really
fairness
is,
to him,
yeah.
it's you have really wonderful conversations with cab drivers.
Dude, the
sometimes.
last cab driver that took me to LaGuardia was a Lebanese Shia, and we talked about how Saad Hariri is actually the late King Abdullah's cuck baby. But anyway,
Oh, that is funny.
what?
Nobody cares about these characters from the Phantom Pain.
I have
We
one.
haven't all read Dune.
I have one
read
thing
it.
that I know about, and you're gonna let me talk about it. But no, so this guy was a ethnic Russian from Ukraine, and
He smashed a risk board.
he was like well, no, he's an ally to me, but he was like, yeah, Trump's kind of a shithead, but Hillary was going to give weapons to all these Banderas. And it was like kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting to hear that perspective on it. But then also, what?
What is the point of this story?
I don't know.
You didn't
The
even
point
smoke
is
it.
that
You have no excuse.
two countries with
Cut his mic off.
McDonald's,
Cut his mic off.
two countries with McDonald's have never gone to war with each other. That's the point.
Actually, that rule was
That's the
broken
point.
in 2008. The Georgian-Russian War.
Yeah.
Both have fucking McDonald's. So retire, bitch. Tom
suck
Friedman,
on
retire,
that,
You
bitch.
can
Tom.
blame Perestroika for that.
There's
Yeah.
another Tom Friedman who's an artist who a friend of a friend was an artist assistant for. And I was like, I was at a wedding, I was drunk, and I was like, can you explain like what the other Tom Friedman's art is like? He's like, yeah, he's like one of his pieces is like really powerful. It's like a bar of soap, and he like takes his pubes and he makes concentric circles on the bar of soap. It's really powerful. And I was like, I think he's the better Thomas Friedman. I do think.
Yeah, that rules. That's valuable.
That's actually the title of Friedman's next book, Pube Dove. How the eradication of crabs are all reinventing globalization.
There was one thing I did, because I can't talk about this on Come Town, and you guys are my boys. I could be a little bit more emotional with.
I'm not a boy.
You're my boy though.
All right, fine.
But you guys do know that I was like an indoctrinated Zionist youth, right? You do know that I lived in.
You were Juden.
I have to go.
You were a
Felix's mic
foreign
off.
middle class
Cut Felix's
Jew.
mic
No,
off right now.
I did a gap year before college in Israel, as it was my Zionist calling, and I do think that this would be probably a good platform for me to talk shit on on that experience.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lay it on the line,
Yeah.
dude. What was it like?
By the way,
Oh,
we
man,
don't
it was
expect
terrible.
a 17-year-old from your context to necessarily
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the best politics on Israel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
You were 17.
I was- are
I
universally
was.
stupid.
I turned 19 there. It was like would
Okay.
have been my freshman year. So I took classes and then I worked on an ambulance like half the year. But I remember there was like this. So I was like pretty fervent Zionist, but like also I like went to Zionist summer camp. But like the reason I sort of thought I think I got into it in retrospect was that I was getting like BJ's, hand J's, like from like girls from New Jersey, and no one in my public high school in Las Vegas wanted to like suck my dick. So I was just like, well, that must mean that Israel is like really they have like a right to like build a wall.
Well, like that's the number. That's,
Honestly-
that's the theory behind birthright, right? Like,
Yeah,
get these
yeah.
horny kids to come here and
Seriously,
get laid.
that would
Yeah.
work on me. That would work.
Dude,
Dude,
100%.
seriously, yeah. And I got really
I mean,
involved.
not me, because I've had sex, but I understand, especially
Well, I had
for
sex.
boys.
I lost my virginity at Zionist summer camp. Thank you very much.
It was by design.
Yeah, I
it's
mean-
all by design.
When you're on Birthright and a girl with braces sucks your dick, it's called the Iron Dome.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this pube soap. It's actually very cool.
It is powerful. Yeah, I looked it up
Oh,
too.
this
It
clearly
is pretty
degenerate
cool.
art.
It's
Yeah,
really
Tom
very
Friedman.
Superior
cool.
Tom Friedman.
Yeah, he's the better Tom
the better
Friedman.
Tom
Okay, this is
Friedman.
clearly
Yo,
the
check
superior.
that
That's
shit
a very
out. No
placid image.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than
whatever.
every page he's ever written.
So-
It's not sports.
So they sent us. So like the summer before I went to Israel, they sent us to like we did like a Jewish leadership program. And they sent us to Capitol Hill to teach us how to lobby our members of
Oh my
Congress.
god!
Yeah. So,
By the way, Adam, I hope none of the Come Town fans listen to this episode.
well, I don't know. I brought this up at the last Funny Moms, but it was fun. I mean, whatever. There's a little overlap, but I'm from Nevada, so they set everyone up with our Congress people, and fucking Harry Reid agreed to meet with me and my friends Alex and Tommy. in his office. And so they like give us all the talking points. They're like, this is why it's important to build. It's not a wall. It's a security fence. And this is why it's important to protect Israel no matter what. My name is Adam Friedland. I'm 16 years old, and I'm desperately trying to get this girl Becky Kaplan to touch my dick. So yeah, I remember like going to the fucking Senate building because
what was Harry Reid like?
he's tall. He's taller than you think. He was a boxer. I think that
We were
song,
just talking about Harry
Simon
Reid
and
the other night.
Garfunkel song was about Harry Reid. Yeah.
He is also the inspiration for the Tommy Smothers character
In
Good
Casino, yes. When I comped you, Mr. Senator, Mr. State Senator.
You were milling around.
But he was actually the opposite of that character because that character gets bribed a lot and, Ace goes off on him. But the real Harry Reid, this undercover informant tried to bribe him and Reid just started choking him and these agents had to run into the room.
I heard that.
Harry Reid's actually very interesting backstory. Like his mother was like changing sheets in hotels. He like came from nothing. He was born in this like middle of nowhere, like from a fucking like western kind of town
The
called
Mormons, right?
Searchlight. Yeah, Searchlight, Nevada. And he's Mormon. And I think he married a Jewish girl. He made her convert, which my parents not okay with that. But
And her entire bloodline.
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
But I met with him in his
Quick
office.
sidebar: Warren Zevon, the only other half Jew, half Mormon.
No, that's not
Clearly
true.
superior.
I'm about
Yeah.
to drop some fucking knowledge on you guys. Roseanne Barr, half Jew, half
Oh, that's
Mormon.
right.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is,
It's the
And I
joining of
think-
two incredibly powerful
I think
bloodlines.
Chelsea Handler too
she's
Really?
is also half Jew, half Mormon. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone look that up.
I mean, Mormons are like...
Roseanne-
they're-
It's
and
like
Larry
a
King's
weird,
wife
like-
is Mormon.
Roseanne's like a weird like Eurasian Jew too, because I remember like looking up.
Yeah.
Oh, Belarusian.
Yeah.
That was it.
I'm a quarter Belarusian, 3/4 Lithuanian. All right, that doesn't matter.
That
You
reminds
wear
me,
well.
know who
I
else
just
is-
remember
you know
I
who
was-
else is half Mormon, half Jew? Belladonna.
Oh yeah, the porn star.
Yeah.
Is that
Way
true?
more than I would expect.
both Roseanne and Chelsea Handler.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow that combo creates
Is Belladonna
some
funny?
really smart stand-up comedy.
Maybe there's something to that combination.
Yeah, I haven't
I
seen her
respect
stand up.
Mormons a lot.
I grew up with a ton of them in Vegas.
They're fucked.
they're fucked up and
creep me out.
they're creepy, but they're also like they're everything evangelicals pretend to be.
Well, I mean, yes, they're
evangelicals think that
successful.
evangelicals are like, I'm successful. My secondhand boating supply business only loses $300,000 a year. I have a great marriage, except for the 20 times a year that I go on a rampage of fellatio and fucking other men and smoking meth. My kids love me. The 2 months out of the year that I'm allowed to see them, I'm just a man of God. By the way, I'm also selling male bracelets on Etsy. I needed to raise money. The judge is making me pay for my own breathalyzer on the car. But also, I think I should be able to tell everyone what to do all the fucking time. I'm a pagan fucking idiot, piece of shit. Go Trump. But anyway, Mormons
That was
actually...
good.
Speaking of secondhand boating supplies, on some episode, I heard you admonish the noble Ski-Doo, which, by the way, those things rule, and I want you to take it back right now.
I don't remember saying.
Instead of
anything
you said
bad
that
about them.
the MAGA chuds were Ski-Doo owners.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
okay,
I'm not
but
taking
Ski-Doos
that back.
This is not really that related, but I just watched that scene in Eastbound and Down
Yes.
where he's at rock bottom and he's on the Ski-Doo in his jeans. He's wearing jeans on the Ski-Doo and he runs out of
Yeah, my
of
dad
gas.
used to do that.
He runs
would
out
wear
of gas
shorts. My
in the
dad
middle
used
of
to do
the
that.
way. And he just walks up.
He would wear jorts on the Ski-Doo because he didn't have real trunks, and his mullet would be waving in the wind.
So the Mormons
And
are.
this was the Ski-Doo he bought with money he probably really should have been paying child
Well, the
support
reason-
on. But in my opinion, at least I got to enjoy the Ski-Doo, so it could be worse. It could be frittering it all away.
Yeah, Ski-Doo's like what most evangelicals spend their money on is like, oh, I'm going to build a $50,000 recording studio so I can record my Christian EDM
Yes!
track called "You Give Me Energy."
It's a blight on nature. They're probably horribly pollutant. They're disgusting. They're so fucking fun.
They rule. They're my
This is the thing this is the thing where the MAGA chuds are right.
Me and my family took the
They
whole
get how to
trip
party.
on ski-doos around the island of Key West, and it was the best family vacation ever. Love
Yeah,
you, mom. Love you,
it
mom and dad.
rules.
Love you, Lizzie.
But like, okay, so Mormons
Yeah, Hemingway
are
used to do
successful,
that when he
and
was
they
in
do-
He would hunt sharks on the ski.
Yeah, he'd have 3 cats on the ski-doo.
And he'd have just a gun that he'd use to shoot
Yeah.
sharks from the ski.
Yeah, he'd hold the gun barrel first in his mouth. As he-
But he had a great time.
yeah, he had a great
I mean,
time.
yes, okay, Mormons are more
I'm
successful
glad he killed himself, by the way.
than evangelicals. Their families
The
are more
hot cake.
stable. They don't get divorced all the time. You know, they actually are what evangelicals
I
claim to
love-
want to be. But they also, when things get a little too much pressure, declare themselves prophets and start polygamous communes in the desert.
Okay. I have.
Whom among
I
us?
have. Okay. Really, Matthew Christman of German heritage. Listen, anyone who comes from Anglo-Saxon or really most types of the, like
Ooh, don't do it to him.
First of all,
respected.
Bavarians are POC.
That's right.
That's true. We're
That's
the
right.
swarthy Catholics of
But
the Prussian Empire.
Most white people, if you go back only 3 generations, they have at least 2 family members, 2 great uncles who went insane and thought that they were Christ. So at least when the Mormons do it, they build an entire community about it. Whereas when the regular Protestants do it, they're just an asshole.
It's
in
not
their
a real
Well,
community,
do you know about-
though. It's an AstroTurf community. It's like Disney does Community, except like you bash gay people instead of them all working
Who,
there.
the
I'm not
Mormons?
saying I condone their actions. I respect their initiative.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do love multi-level marketing, and that's the reason, because it's the religion itself is a multi-level
But
marketing
there's
scheme.
such a like a genre of ex-Mormonism that they're clearly like
Jack Mormons.
Jack Mormons, yeah.
they're clearly like hemorrhaging people.
Well, no, until recently
No.
anyway, they're one of the fastest growing religions in the world. A lot of their
It's
But
true.
that doesn't mean they're not hemorrhaging people. It just means they're evangelizing.
That's true, and they're evangelizing in like Africa, which is weird since they didn't think black people were fully human until the fucking 70s.
Everyone has a pre-woke period, but
Those are the old tweets.
okay. Let me put it this way. Yeah,
old
If you ever check out Brigham Young's tweets, problematic.
Yeah. Listen. A lot of people drop out of Mormonism. A lot of people stay in evangelical Christianity. Well, yeah, you know what? It's easy to get a black belt in Taekwondo. It's a little bit harder to get one in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I actually went to Temple Square.
Me too. I
yeah.
went to a debate tournament in Salt Lake City when I was in high school. When I was not getting any head. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so creepy because it feels like Disneyland's version of religion.
It's weird.
It's
weird.
It feels totally ersatz. It feels totally just like fabricated. And because you can't go into the temple unless you're a Mormon.
Right.
You have to have your temple card. But they have this big museum next to it.
Yeah.
And like the big culminating thing is you go up a spiral staircase or style incline like a Guggenheim kind of, and there's a big painting of the night sky, and you get in the middle of it, and it's this big circular room, and all the walls are painted like the stars, and then Earth, and then Kolob, and then a big statue of Christ in the middle of it. And it just feels real
Yeah.
fake.
Well, as far as like people that believe that when they die they're going to inherit a planet that they're going to rule over with their 75 kids and their wife, as far as those type of people go, they're chill as fuck. Actually, like in Vegas, there were
It's
a
true
ton of
you'd expect
Mormons
them to be worse.
because Howard Hughes,
yeah. Iron Bob
obviously,
Mayhew, yeah.
the Howard Hughes Corporation, when he was like losing his mind, only trusted Mormons. So he only hired Mormons. So there's
that
in
seems
Vegas.
like it could end up like an Altamont situation, though. Like that could totally backfire.
Well, no, I mean they were
he was
the best
batshit
workers.
insane and trusted Mormons because they were incredibly, in his view, pure and clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had
It's
clean
like how
blood.
people in the Midwest love to hire the Amish to frame their house
I used
for
to
like
jack
10
off.
times the price.
I used to jack off so furiously though to the moms because like they had this like sort of almost repressed, but they were like bursting with this sexual energy. And my friend Brad's mom, I used to fucking just murder my dick whenever I'd come home.
Well, I'll say
hanging
this.
out at his house.
I drove through Colorado City, Arizona once, which is one of the big ones, the one Warren Jeffs used to lead.
Oh yeah.
And the houses are these giant, like, improvised buildings with like a bunch of drywalled additions. And they're all on a
having kids?
hill of dirt with no grass, and they all have really, really tall walls.
Well,
around
they've been
every house.
excommunicated. Those
Yeah.
guys.
But
They're-
like, I saw one of the ladies, and she was there with her little Children of the Corn kids. and she was wearing that outfit that I saw them when they were arraigning
prairie
the people,
dress.
the prairie dress
Yeah.
and the hair, and it's like that would kill my boner. And I mean, I would never. I would need like at least 12 wives to make up for those
No.
just horrifyingly unappealing fashion choices.
Disagree.
The regular moms
one of
would
the-
wear like Hollister and stuff and be hot and be like 31 years old
What is
and like
Yeah, right.
They just stay
because they
at home
started
and work
spawning
out
at
all
yeah,
day.
like
they'd be
13.
blonde. They'd look like hot high school girls, but they were moms.
To slightly redirect to Adam's teenage horniness, I do want to come back around to your teenage Zionism as
Oh,
a
yeah.
result of being horny and how it
Oh,
totally paid
100%.
off in getting beaches and hand jobs.
It did pay off, but then
But, like,
I lost
so,
it.
So how did you lose it then?
Okay,
you just got
there were
started getting
two
laid
moments.
regularly, and you're like the
I don't
novelty
need
of that
Israel
went away, and
anymore.
you were like,
There were
"Holy
two
shit,
moments.
this is objectifyingly terrifying."
There were two moments. One was at the end of my year in Israel. They had a campus activism seminar, right? And there was this British guy who made Aliyah, who was like one of the leaders of the program.
It was Sam
Who
Chris.
sort of. My program was half British, half American, and they're all from North London, and they all live in like this like a 2 block radius. It's like a
This shit
fucking
in Jerusalem, mate.
yeah, it's
We're
a
building a
shtetl.
bloody Tesco next to the temple.
They're all Tories, and they're all fucking like repugnant, and they flat ironed their hair, and they all had Euro mullets. But these dudes. Okay, so anyway, this dude stands up and he's like, "Next year, you are going to war. You are going to the United States, Canadian, and British college campus. On these college campuses, there is a war between Israel and Palestine that you are going to have to undertake. All right, let's get some ideas. How are we going to make people like Israel?" Okay, all right, shoot. Here's one idea. All right, when it's Sukkot, you have you sit in the quad of your college and you make a sukkah and you smoke hookah. You do hookah in the sukkah. And when people ask you what's going on, you say, "Well, in Israel, it's cool that people smoke hookah." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Fuck did
They were
you
like,
just say?
the Palestinian campus activists are going to spread lies. They're going to say that Israel is killing the Palestinians. They're going to say that Israel is brutal. And they're going to say, and then I was like, yeah, okay, they are. Like, they're doing all that. And then there was one weekend where they took us to the settlements, and that was when I really lost it.
Talk
I
about
was-
insular, weird religious
Yeah.
communities. Yeah.
So we went to the settlements, and they were like, you're just there, and it's like all tract housing. It's like, it looks like Vegas. It looks like where I grew up. It's all like fucking like cookie cutter, like, it looks like fucking Arrested Development, like it's like tract model homes. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, just look down the road. That's like a Palestinian village. And they're like, yeah, we got to protect ourselves. And they had like fucking guards, and they're all fucking like religious psychopaths. And I went there right after the disengagement from Gaza, and they had to, the settlers in Gaza. There was like maybe there's so much fewer settlers in Gaza than there are on the West Bank. That was like the first step of Sharon getting woke and being like, well, I'm gonna make everyone leave Gaza, and then next step, I'm gonna make everyone leave the West Bank. But then he had a fucking stroke. But the butcher of Sabra and Shatila, by the way. But yeah, and I remember I was in the settlements, and I was like, I feel like I'm in a fucking stolen car right now. And then all of a sudden they were like, "You need to get inside. We need to get inside." And we're like, "What's going on?" And they made us go inside this like fucking rec center they had, and they were like, "There's a riot in the village, like the Palestinian village, like right down the road, and we think there's a terrorist loose." And like we were all like hiding in this fucking rec center. And I remember there's like this like guard they had with us, and he had a fucking gun. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing here right now? I'm fucking 19 years old. Why did my parents agree to do this? I paid for a blowjob from a Russian sex worker that was fucking sex trafficked here with my fucking meal stipend money. And then forgot the envelope of meal stipend for the month in the strip club, and had to starve for a month where I ate a shawarma every day at 5 p.m. to survive. That's what I did. Anyway,
How was the beach though?
it was a condom blowjob from
best.
from a woman that was had braces and fake
God.
breasts, and I remember this was the first time I felt fake boobs, and I was like, "This is terrible. These are the hardest."
At 19
heaviest-
years old, you were picky.
I just remember feeling them. I'm like, this is horrible, and I know that my dad, when we're in like supermarkets and stuff or restaurants, he'll like look at a woman with fake breasts and be like, "That's nice," and I'm like, "Well, you've just never felt them. You've never felt them before." Yeah, it was just like wholly inappropriate that I was sent there for a year, and then I left, and then I went to college, and then I studied Middle Eastern politics, and then they told us about all the shit that we weren't told about, like the Tochni Dal and the ethnic cleansing and during the 1948 war, and it's just like, okay, I was on a fucking propaganda trip, and yeah, so that's, I mean, I went to college in D.C. because I was like really into politics in high school, and then like within a week of being there, I was just like, you know how when you get to college, there's always that first guy that's like running for something. It's like the floor, the representative for your floor. There's like
the
someone,
RA or something.
Yeah, well, like the first, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make this semester the best semester ever. Like, my name is Tim, and I'm running for floor representative for the 7th floor. We're gonna fucking kill it this year. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you running for? And it's always those guys that are the ones that like get internships on the Hill and then go into politics, and they're always the worst fucking people in the world. So I fucking lost Zionism, you know, from going to Israel.
I
And
love those grotesque like British Tories who tried to give you like their patent speech about going to college, and you surrendered immediately.
Well, I did some like spy work for the Palestinian campus activists. Like I sat in on
You were a
Hillel.
double agent.
I sat in on Hillel meetings and like told them, and then I told the Palestinian kids about like what their plans were to like protest like anti-Israel speakers and stuff. I was like fucking James Bond, dude.
Triple parentheses 7.
Yeah.
But of course, the real question is, did that get you laid?
No, I didn't really get laid. I mean, I got laid okay. Like, I had girlfriends, but then I kind of mostly got laid in the last, like, 2.5, 3 years of my life after I moved here. And it was, like, weird. I mean, I have, like, I talk about this in stand-up, but, like, there are enough girls in New York that have seen, like, Annie Hall that think it's, like, acceptable to have sex with a disgusting, spindly, Rumpelstiltskin, like, Jewish creature. And so then like I moved here, and then I was like, girls were having sex with me finally, and it was I just can't live anywhere else. I have to live here for the rest of my life. I'm fucked because I don't know. But yeah. So I got like blowjobs in Zionist indoctrination camps, and then I took a break for like 5 years until I was like 27 years old.
Jewish people, they take something bad with camps and turn it into something great.
It's true. Wow, this is
going
like
from the absolute worst camp in the world to the absolute best.
The blowjob camp.
Camp blowjob. But I did, if it's okay with the rest of the gang, having Adam on. I do want to talk with Adam for the first time on the show, because I feel like he's a minor figure in the show mythos that like I don't think we've ever fully explored. But can we talk about my boy Pop?
can
we talk about King Pop?
He's out. He's so bored right now. I don't know if you've been following his Snapchat.
He's lost some weight.
We should give.
Wait a minute. So he did not do 10 years. Obviously,
We should do back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Adam, could you lay out like who is Popcorn and why is he of interest to us?
Well, it's before I knew you. Nick sent me this Instagram of this kid from Kentucky who's like an obese high school student.
He's like an Eric Cartman looking like white
looks
kid.
like-
I mean, like, he's got like curly blonde hair.
He is like
but he's like a
IRL
big
Cartman.
fat
That's
like
perfect.
white kid.
He's
Yeah.
cherubic white trash.
who
He's
rocks
like-
like
he's-
true
yeah.
religion jeans.
So he plays fast and loose with the N-word.
Soft A.
Soft A. And then, I went kind of deep into Pop, and I found out that he has a black stepdad and half black siblings, so maybe that's influenced him thinking it's okay to
He's
say that
basically
word.
Nathan
But
Johnson.
yeah, so I evangelized Popcorn because I thought this is before I knew Will, and
Yeah.
you found it and you showed
I think
it
I
to
showed Nick. Yeah.
and then Nick showed it to me, and then I showed like a billion people. Anyway, like, and you know his social
He's like
media
his
presence,
Instagram style is so amazing though, because he's like, I don't know, what was he, 15 then?
something like that.
And it's just like it's just all his feed is just him just smoking blunts, like comment off that gas. They mad though.
It's amazing.
Like making
He's
out with
Mountain
like
Dew
hot
Macklemore.
women.
yeah,
in
that
his high
girl,
school.
his girlfriend is hot.
Yeah.
Do you remember that text exchange that he posted, which was like his girlfriend being like, you know, like he's like, he like texts her, he's like, I promise I will never cheat on you again. And she's like, as long as you promise 100. And he's like, yeah, I love you, baby. And she's like, I love you too. And he's like 100, we're gonna stay together forever. Like, this is true love. And it's like, and I don't know. Like he was a boy that we followed. A group of people in New York were following on social media because we
Yeah.
thought he was funny, and he was team follow back. He would follow you back because he was a real savage, and you know, if you follow a savage, he'll follow you back. And then he had a post one day that's like, well, he didn't post for like a couple weeks, and then he's like, yo, it just got out the clink or whatever. It just got out the
Huskow?
Bing.
He's a total rap king, but he also uses old timey slang
Yeah.
from the 30s.
I just got out the clink. He's like, yeah, I'm about to go to jail for 10 years. And I was like,
I remember seeing this and thinking, is this for real? Like, is this all just been an elaborate prank?
because I thought he was just like, he was acting like he was a criminal, but he was just a boy that was just trying to be like a rapper.
Yeah.
So then I DM'd him.
Yeah, well, that's generally how it starts.
Wait, I can find the DMs, but I DM'd him and I was like, popcorn, like,
I'm worried.
I was like, popcorn, where? Is it true you're going to jail? Let me find it.
Wait, while Adam's finding the
But
DMs,
he's like this very charismatic
yeah,
personality.
he's got swag for days.
Yeah.
Like he really does. And my favorite, like he would just post a lot of videos too, and they would just be him, like, you know, rapping to like G Herbo or like Bobby Schmurder, and like just smoking blunts and just being like,
Oh, he's a terrible
off
rapper.
that gas, yeah. And then he raps himself, like his boys make beats, and he's like this, like, yeah, he does his own rap shit. But my favorite popcorn video, it's lost forever now, unfortunately, are just him and his friends standing in a barn
Gang.
smoking weed, and it's raining outside, and they're just waiting for it to stop raining so they can smoke weed somewhere else. And just popcorn's turning the camera on and just says, "Gang shit,
Gang shit."
that
Yeah,
to me was so beautiful.
And then there was like an adult that they were hanging out. It was all boys, and then one of them is an adult, and he like turns the camera to the adult, and he immediately puts his hand over his face, like, "Come on, popcorn, stop putting me in your stupid videos." Anyway, yeah, I found the DM. So I was like, "Hi, popcorn, are you really going to jail on Wednesday for 10 years?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have to do 2 years out of 10 to get parole, but I'll probably do 4. And I was like, "Damn, dude, sorry to hear that. What happened?" And he's like, "Me and my dude did a home invasion with a handgun and went on a high-speed chase with the police because we was in a stolen car." Which is so much illegal stuff.
That's so bad. That's
That's
so
an astounding amount of illegal activity.
Like,
There's
so like,
so much going
He's
on.
so bad. He's such a bad boy.
He's like, what? He's like 17. He's like doing felonies at like a 28-year-old level.
well, thank God he got arrested when he was still 17. Because if he had been,
I really,
Like-
yeah. Had he gone to adult prison, popcorn would have
Honestly,
gotten eaten
initially,
alive.
I didn't believe it, but I kind of believed that he was doing all those things.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
he was 16. Yeah.
He was 16. So thank God. So basically,
So he's spent, what, 2 years?
it's not a joke. He did do 2 years, and I don't know what kind of facility, but he was locked up for 2 years. And he's just gotten out, and like, you know, Adam was the first person to text me. He was like, "Yo, Pop's out."
Yeah.
He's on Snap. He's on the
He's
Snap.
on the
right
snap.
now.
You gotta follow. You gotta follow a savage, dude.
Yeah, follow a savage. So yeah, just I don't know, like he, just his impish, youthful joy and vigor
Antics.
and antics.
Felonies.
And felony charges.
Well, then I said, "Are
It
you?"
abused me with like it cheers me up.
He's so bored now because like he can't smoke gas on Snap or on Instagram anymore. So hopefully,
Which was 90% of what he was doing before.
Yeah, there were a lot
Hopefully
of
he's-
great great weed shots. That's the thing that I remember. He
Yeah.
could
There
really
was that.
showcase the marijuana.
There was that, and then the one right after he got beat up when he did the mirror video, and he was like, "Yeah, just got jumped today." Like, yeah, I'm gonna see you out there on these streets. And he's like, literally has a black eye, and he never cut his fingernails. He had long, terrible, disgusting fingernails. Anyway, after he told me what he did, I said, "Man, I'm sorry, Popcorn. Are you doing okay?" And then he did not answer a soft
Yeah,
ass.
but they were here to like ruin the moment
soft
with
ass
like this
question like that.
intimate gay.
And then I
How
was
are you
like, "How are you
feeling?"
feeling about this?" And then I was like, a couple hours later, I was like, "Can you have Insta in jail?" And then he said, "No, you can't." And I was like, "Stay strong, Pop."
I just came up with an idea. The way that Israel... Look, Zionism is a cancer on this world. No one in my family has ever been Zionist. We're not Zionists because I was told from a young age that Israelis are just the most unpleasant fucking people in the world.
I think that's why my
But
parents are Zionists, because they hate it when they move here, because they're just so disgustingly
they're
rude.
awful. They're awful.
They have no manners.
But anyway, look, so, the population transfer that's occurred in the last few years, that was sort of the real thing behind Jonathan Pollard, was getting all these people who weren't really Jews sent from Russia to, like, fight Arab birth rates in Israel.
yeah,
But, so they're always lowering standards because, they can't...
because of demographics.
Demographics, right. But it's like, there's no such thing as really half a Jew if you're going by that definition. So they should take kids like Popcorn and send them to Israel.
Put them in the IDF.
Yeah, you can smoke that gas, but you have to be a part of something, Popcorn.
You have to be a Golani.
Yeah.
The chopper, it's
Yeah.
Gas and fucking guns.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
That takes care of our delinquents. It teaches them respect, a schedule, being part of something bigger. You would get another version of Modest Yahoo.
Yeah, and he would kill it at the online Hasbara.
Oh my God, he'd be saying, yo, Goofy, you try to call this an apartheid state? How come my boy is Druze?
Yo, Ali Abunima, you mad AF? Because I'm off that weed, pussy, getting this money while you mad as fuck, B.
Yeah, it's true. Hezbollah are complete haters. Jesus Christ, that would be so funny. The Russians in Israel are hilarious. I was on a bus once, and there was this kid that was like just had like fingerless gloves and this like disgusting greasy haircut, and he looks at me and goes, "Let me ask you a question." And I was like, "All right, what's up, dude?" And he's like, "Are you a metalist?" And I was like, "A metalist? Like, can I like work with metals?" And he's like, "No. Do you like Metallica, Megadeth?"
I mean, the Russians that they brought over, they're kind of like the teacots of Israel.
Oh yeah,
Like, they really are.
they become a Vigdor Lieberman.
A Victor
Yeah.
Lieberman is like... I mean, everyone there, like everything is like a teacup meme. It's not really a teacup meme. It's like if Richard Spencer got to run a country. But Victor Lieberman is like the Sheriff David Lee Clark of that place.
Yeah, that's a great analog.
He was also a bouncer. And he got into politics because he beat the shit out of a child. And then his like neighbor who was in politics like got him out of the charge. And he's like, "Wow, you really can use this to help people." What a great country. What an amazing place.
My favorite one is the Nazi woman Ayelet Shaked.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Who's
Don.
like, "I still would."
Don.
Yo, dude,
I still would.
Dude, in the Israeli version of Chapo and Cumtown, after Netanyahu won in 2015, the Israeli version of me and the Israeli version of you, I was like, I don't know, man. There's some like good rising stars that could beat Likud, like
Ayelet Shaked. I still would though.
No question.
What a perfect place to wrap things up now that we've come full circle.
Oh yeah, thank you for
That
having
is an
me.
excellent bow.
Can I-
You are listening to Andy Ancap's Volunteerist Radio Hour. We're here to take on the thugs who are trying to bring United to heel. Now we bring our solution to the United disaster with volunteerism, the free market, and the non-aggression principle.
I have an entire thing about this plan in that voice.
We
Guys.
started the show, right?
Guys,
What?
Yeah.
we gotta talk about the Boss Baby.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's
Can I say my favorite Sopranos thing ever?
No, we're talking
Just
about
one thing. It's
cinema.
real quick.
just
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
this is your Chapo for this week. It's Chapo. Let's go. Joining us now for the second time, making his
Second time.
triumphant return, Adam Friedland.
Second Timers Club. I got the green blazer,
Those
like the.
shoes.
Oh, thank
You
you,
Oh
ho.
my God! Someone's shoes look like a fam.
guys. These shoes. I happen to know. I went up to a very cool teenager on the
It's
street.
macrame by Yeezy.
Yeah, it's like they're like sort of athletic. They're a sports sandal, and you know what? It's my look for the summer, and I'm glad I
But
busted them
you're
out.
wearing them with socks.
I'm wearing them with
Yo, when this
brown dress
episode
socks,
goes live,
gold
we
toe
have
from
to
Costco.
Tweet pictures of these abortions he's wearing on his feet.
What you talking about? This is style,
My
okay?
man wearing the Running Bull ones.
How's your skin, by the way? Have you started using your snail
I
mucus?
started my program. Amber's got me on right now, a skincare program. I had a really rough winter this year with the dryness and flaking. But yeah, hopefully in the next week I'm going to be back in action.
Yeah.
With having a beautiful shimmering face. Still can't grow a full beard, but I think that's stage 2 of face
Fine.
recovery.
And you shaved after Passover. You had that horrifying mustache.
I did. I grew a mustache to become a 30-year-old man, but it was I can't grow it in the middle. I'm sort of the opposite of Hitler, guys. I'm a really good guy.
Who's the guy
In many
from
ways, you
Motley
are the
Crue who
opposite
had
of
that?
Hitler.
In more ways than one.
Nick Mars.
Mick Mars, that's it. He had that famously,
Yeah.
the catfish. It was,
Oh, yeah.
It's a good look. You might want to look more into
It's-
like filling it out.
Yeah.
Now he has Korean skincare. He's going to expose the whole beautiful
I'm gonna
punum.
look so fucking hot. I'm gonna look like a porcelain baby.
Adam does kind of look like a woman who's on a K-pop show now.
Oh, it's true.
Like
Yeah.
K-drama.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Boss Baby.
Wait, I just
Speaking
want to say
of
my
penis.
one soprano.
Oh, God damn it!
It's worth it. It's worth it. Sorry, I'm busting your flow, guys. I'm coming in here. I got the green blazer on for my second time. Peering on chops. Okay, there's this scene right at the beginning of the scene. Carmela's in the kitchen and she's facing a picture of Anthony Jr., right? Who's one of the ugliest people I've ever seen.
It's
And
true.
she's holding
He's
a
an
pencil.
ugly child.
And she's sketching the picture of Anthony Jr. And it shows for 1 second her drawing of her disgusting son. And it's the funniest part of all 6.5 seasons. What is it? 6, but this last one was 2 seasons.
Are you sure that wasn't in a dream sequence?
No, that-
They had great dream
Ooh,
sequences.
They suck.
Okay, we're not going down. We're not
I'm
going down this
sorry.
path.
Thank you, Boss
Let's
Baby.
get back on track.
Boss
Like I
Baby.
said, we have Adam on the show because Adam has a story to tell that you've probably already heard, but it's
It's like
still funny.
Rashomon. It
Yeah.
requires multiple
Exactly.
telling.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're going to talk to you about a few other things that are burning up the news with Adam. Before we get that, we need to report from Matt Cinema Christman on Boss Baby.
Oh yeah.
You actually went to see.
I went and saw Boss Baby. It was my friend and I were having dinner, and we're like, "Oh, what? It's like really, it's too hot," and I'm stupidly wearing pants. And what do we want to do? And it's like, well, let's see what's terrible at the theater. I mean, we saw the last Transformers movie together. You know, we like a good time in the theater, smuggling some rum, and it's like, oh, Boss Baby, and we're like, that's the stupidest thing we could pick, so we went with it. And so yeah, we got some booze and we went in, and it really did deliver. It was incredibly entertaining. For one thing, the real dominant motif is CGI children's asses. Like every other joke is a shot of a child's either butt crack in diapers or just bare ass.
A production by Brian Cox in conjunction with Podesta Films and Jeffrey Epstein Pictures.
I mean, it's funny because obviously, like, it was there's a lot of poopy and, potty jokes, but I found out there's a really thin line between like juvenile potty humor and just straight up child pornography, and it was right on that line.
That is the line that most artists have trouble with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you create anything, you're like, this is really good, but am I getting into child porn territory? Like, if you're challenging yourself creatively, you should be having that problem.
Yeah.
But like, Matt, this is what, like, okay, we've all seen the poster,
Yeah.
and that's basically everyone was responding to.
Yeah.
What is like the premise of
He's the
this
boss
movie?
baby. What are you talking about?
But like,
Wait, he's a Bruce Springsteen baby.
Yeah. No. Okay. Basically, he in this world. That's what's really fascinating is the world that they create. Is that it really is like a brutal piece of propaganda in its own way. It posits that babies come from a factory for a company called Baby Core. And most babies come to Earth as children, but some babies who, when they're tickled, don't laugh, become managers of Baby Core. And then they all live in, like, they work in an office building where they, like, basically manufacture the other babies and then promote people wanting to have babies on Earth.
Isn't this exactly what Scientologists believe?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I have to say, as a high person, this is so upsetting to listen to.
No, it's very good. It's excellent, and I loved it. And they send the boss baby down to Earth. He's one of the executives to be the little brother
Voiced
of this
by
kid.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, because there's this company called Puppy Co. that's basically like a giant puppy mill that's supposedly coming out with a beautiful, perfect, cute puppy that's going to be so cute that people aren't going to want kids anymore, and so there will be no children.
Wow.
It's basically a prequel to Children of Men.
This is it's the decadent West.
Yeah, and so they send the boss baby down to stop it, but what kind of annoyed me is that what the boss baby
This is
does...
white nationalist propaganda. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
What the boss baby
incredibly
does is
disturbing.
more like corporate espionage, and you wouldn't send somebody from management to do that. You would, like, hire it out to another company. So that wasn't believable. But what was really, like, grim and depressing about it is the way that it sets up capitalism as, like, not just a transient human structure, but as the foundation and basis for all existence. Like, the babies are in this corporation. They have money. Like, he has money that he gets from working there. So,
That's
like, they
the
have
dream.
capitalism where humans are literally forged. And some people might say, well, the way the movie is kind of suggests, the way the movie is set up, it sort of suggests that this is all the younger brother imagining. Like, he's basically dealing with having a younger brother and
I
what
see.
it does in his family, and this is like his imagined way of, like, coping with it. But as Lacan teaches us, ideological fantasies structure reality. So that is really, like, that's part of what the boss baby is. It's to tell us that we cannot escape capitalism anywhere.
Are there adults in the Boss Baby universe?
Yes.
Does he interact with them? And
He
they're like,
does, but he doesn't. He
As a
pretends to
baby.
be a regular baby in front of them.
Oh, I see. So
Oh,
it's sort of like the
it's like
Secret
Toy
Life
Story.
of Pets.
Right.
Yeah.
The kid's the only one who knows that he's a boss baby,
Okay.
even though he wears a suit and carries a briefcase.
Is there a part where the boss baby is like, even I, the boss baby, the smartest baby, could not fight against the tyranny of a sick judge ripping me from my father Alec Baldwin's arms and delivering me to my bitch mother, Kim Basinger, and poisoning my mind against her?
How about this? Glenn Boss Baby.
Well, there is a
yeah.
Glengarry joke. It's in the trailer. He's
I
with
figured
these
it
other
out to you.
babies around a conference table, and the kid has a cookie. He goes, "Put the cookie down. Cookies are for closers," which is going to kill among the 4-year-olds who go to see this movie.
Check this out. ABC, always be crying.
But the real
That's good, bro.
the real
idea of
things
a
that
baby
power the
kill,
movie are is that the boss baby, all babies know about this when they're born, but when they stop sucking on a pacifier, they forget it. And also, the boss babies stay babies forever because they drink magic formula that keeps them as babies so they don't grow.
That's just
Sounds like a
steroids. It stunts
millennial.
your growth. And, like, if you want your baby to be a baby forever, you're listening, you've somehow bred,
That was the
give
same.
your baby steroids.
That was the milk that that doctor was giving Michael Jackson.
Yes.
It was milk to help him stay a baby forever.
And there's a scene towards the end where the boss baby goes back to Baby Co. having succeeded and gets a huge party, and they're spraying him with formula, and it, honest to God, looks like bukkake. Like, we were, like, looking at each other like, anybody who goes to this movie unattended with a child deserves to be chemically castrated, and including both of us. Then they when they're spending time in Baby Co, I'm like, I was just yelling basically under my breath, like, well, does he have a house? Does he go home? Like, are there restaurants and stuff? Like, are there other babies doing like manual labor and things?
Are like
yeah. Is there a Boss Baby City? Or there Boss Baby municipal
right, because
workers?
there is money. He has a
Are
big
there
wad of
Boss
hundreds.
Baby couples?
Yeah.
Are there married babies?
So, Boss Baby. So you would recommend going to see a movie
Highly
because it's a
recommend
dumb
Boss
internet
Baby.
joke?
Just go in there. You'll be occupied either by being viscerally upset by the really perfectly rendered digital baby asses. And when we walked out, I was like, holy shit, I'm glad we decided not to see the 3D one. And then also asking questions the entire time about how this is supposed to work. Because it's absolutely
The
baffling.
universe is full of holes.
It's totally weird. Like the premise is like they have to get people to want to have babies. Like they have to market having babies, but like there's no role for because his mom gets pregnant. Like his mom has a belly, but then Boss Baby shows up in a taxi. Like he shows up to their house in a taxi. Wearing the suit, unattended, with a suitcase. A briefcase.
I was gonna say, like, you describing the plot of this movie sounds like they gave it to like a team of screenwriters, but like had them base it on a journal that was found in like the home of one of those like Henry Darger style outsider artists.
Yeah,
about,
apparently it is based on a book series of children's books.
No, it was David Mamet, actually.
Well, yeah. If we haven't disturbed you and disgusted you enough already talking about Boss Baby, let's talk about something even more disturbing, which is coordinated online harassment.
Adam,
awesome.
Adam, you recently gaslit and assaulted a woman. Tell us about that.
I defended all of yours. You use as honor.
Start from the beginning. Show me on the doll.
I got in trouble for being a good friend, actually,
Now-
which happens to me constantly.
If you're
folks.
a crossover, listener to us and come town, I'm sorry to cannibalize this material, but if you're not, you may have heard us make allusion to it. But Adam was just visiting L.A., the city of
in LA.
Angles.
Yeah, it's an angular.
Getting that Zog money.
yeah.
And you had a cab ride that turned very salty on account of us.
Well, I mean, I was in the hills at this pool party.
Hollywood Hills.
And there were a lot of gentlemen that looked similar to me, and I couldn't figure it out. And then a lot of older men as well, and it was just older men, and then clean-shaven, smooth gentlemen like myself.
This is the prosciutto and melon pizza gate.
And anyway, I took a sip of this drink, and then I woke up 12 hours later.
Anyway, I'm in the new X-Men movie.
I got a walk on him in Logan 2, which I'm pretty excited about. I play his best friend. Okay, I was in LA. I was going to meet my friend Stavros. I got in a Lyft because it's way cheaper in LA than it is in New York. That's not interesting. But in New York,
Okay.
it's weird though.
You're
because
doing that comedian thing. It's like a reflex. You cannot not compare New York to LA.
in New York.
No, he's doing the comedian thing about talking about comparing prices of things. And
Oh,
what's
yeah.
cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, don't you know?
Triple parentheses
You guys
comedian.
always say so
Parentheses.
comedians are doing that, and comedians sit on occupy the majority of the seats on the National Security
true.
Council, and somehow we're fucking bombing Syria now because of all the comedians on there. Yeah, but it's racist to point that out that they're all comedians.
Speaking of, I got tickets to New Rules.
Hell yeah.
I got tickets.
Yeah.
How awesome was that? By the way?
Brandon Wardell ruined.
He had Brandon Wardell
We
on.
were supposed to go, and then he's like, "You got the tickets to the rehearsal. I'm gonna get us tickets to the Friday show." And then we didn't.
God damn it.
Brandon,
He
God,
fell. He
ruins
fucking flaked on me.
everything.
Brandon
I
was on the.
Show.
Okay, so I'm in a lift. I'm going to meet my pal Stavros, come town. And in New York, sorry to do this, Andy.
You motherfucker!
In New York, it's just a guy that was from Senegal, doesn't know how he got here, and he leaves you alone, lets you get to your fucking destination. But in LA, it's always like some dude that's probably a failed actor, and he's just like, "So what's your experience with rideshare?" You know, which is just like, it's like, "Hey, I'm Damien, triple threat. I don't know if you saw, I'm a 4.9, but an LA 10."
The way you get rid of that is you start telling them the truth about Syria. That's what I do in every car that I'm in. But in LA, they won't talk to you.
So he's like, "What? You know?" This guy's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm just like, first of all, I was surprised they were even talking. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing talking to me?" And there was a lady in the lift already, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm here for a podcast." And he's like, "Oh, what's that like?" And she's like, "A pot." And then the lady sitting next to me said, "Oh, a podcast? That's very interesting. What's your podcast called?" And I can immediately tell that she would not like the podcast.
You just looked her up and down and thought, no, you will not know this information
It was
about
just
me.
a vibe thing, and that's one of my talents. As an X-Men, actually, in the Logan movie, my talent is that I can tell if someone is a cumboy or not.
She was not.
Yeah, she's not. The guy that called all the JCCs with the bomb threats, probably. Probably a cumboy.
So like you're thinking, you're like, okay, don't want to tell her my podcast.
So I was like,
so you're like,
so she's like, "What's
play
it called?"
safe.
I was like, "It's comedy." That was my response, right? Because I wasn't trying to necessarily engage.
Nice touch.
Nice touch. It's comedy, so whatever. So then she's like, "Yeah, I got a podcast myself. It's a political podcast." And so in order to change the subject from comedy into safer water, from what I understood, like book reading ass water, I was like, "Oh shit, my friends have a political podcast too. That's crazy. I think it's like I think people like it."
See, this is why I'm not really that sympathetic, because if she'd said, "Oh, I have a political podcast too," or "I have a political podcast," I would have said, "That's cool."
Yeah, I should have shut up, and I should have not said anything.
Yeah, but you don't do that.
But I don't do that because I'm my father and I'm 30 and okay. But so I was like, "Oh, my friends have one." She's like, "What's it called?" And I'm like, "It's called Chapo Trap House." It's like, and then the second I said that,
Just the
just
steel shutter is just
blood
slammed down.
rushing out of her face, and she's like, "Oh, no." So I was like, "What?" They like, I was about to say like, they like plan out what they're gonna say before the show and stuff. It's pretty good. Because that's like my bar on what makes a good podcast, not just like me and Sav and Nick just call. So she said, so I said, "Really?" She was like that. I was surprised she wouldn't like it. I don't know. And she's like, "Yeah, they're horrible people." And I'm like, "Well, I just said to you they were my friends." And so I was like, "No, I think they're pretty nice. They're my pals. I don't think they're bad people at all." So she was really the only person in the lift making any accusations about anyone's character or anything like that.
It's true. She could have just stopped
She
it.
could have just stopped there and said, "Oh, yeah, I heard of it." Sorry.
But she persisted.
But she persisted against all odds. She said, "Yeah, they oftentimes will conduct coordinated harassment campaigns of women and POCs." So then I said, "Have you listened to Chapo?" Like, I don't think that's what that is. And she started getting really upset because really the way the conversation happened was she'd make a statement and then I'd ask a question because I was like sort of
that's a mistake.
See, that's called
interviewing her.
That's sea lining.
It's called sea lining.
And she's not there to do emotional
I was
labor
just
for
trying
you.
to
that what sea
understand.
lining is?
Yeah, it's a sea lining.
It's basically asking any kind of follow up on any statement.
But
about
isn't that
anything.
what, like, these women with the, with the candles and the sheets, isn't that what they want men to do, is ask them questions?
Not randos. I don't think they want randos to ever ask them questions.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want.
I saw a lady
questions
with
that
a
are supposed to
mattress.
But a
interrogate their
rando
point of
is
view.
just a guy you haven't fucked yet.
That's a good attitude to take.
So I was just confused why she thought that. Like, I just sort of wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, first of all, I think that's kind of weird because, I have a female friend that's on their podcast.
Hashtag not your shield.
And yeah, so then she was like, yeah, one. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And then I was like, well, that's kind of like, aren't you just like, by saying that all these people are white men, aren't you just acting like you're erasing the identities of all the women and POCs?
Why were you
on the left?
having this argument?
Dude.
Why?
I just wanted.
Why were you having tweets in the back of a lift? Why were you exchanging tweets?
I don't know. I don't know why I engaged, but she seemed to be very upset, and I was kind of having fun. I was bored at that point. I wasn't harassing, but I was interested in seeing where it was going. Anyway, point is, it sort of gets on the subject of Sadie Doyle, and I said, well, I think that she's kind of unhinged,
Sexist.
right? She's like tweeted at my friend like for like 3 days on end, and like, you know, my friend was just responding with pictures of Dr. Evil that said Ryan. I didn't say that. I didn't say that, but I was like,
God, he was like a brick wall. He was magnificent.
oh, that was
one of
beautiful.
Nick's finest performances.
Yeah, that was really.
It
that was
blows me away that
virtuoso.
didn't become a meme way of like deflecting someone or trolling someone because it's so perfect.
Oh, it was incredible. Anyway, I didn't say that about Nick, but I was like, I know she's like tweeted at friends of mine for like days on end, like every 20 minutes,
And has actually done coordinated campaigns to get people fired from their
yeah,
job.
that's
which is
what I
something
said.
we've never done.
Right. She's like gotten people fired, like, and, you know, limited their ability to earn a living. Like, I think, and so she said, after that whole thing, I said, her only response was unhinged, unhinged. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's unhinged. And she's like, you see, you don't get it. You really don't get it. Like, that's exactly the point that I'm making of like how basically she's a genius and I'm a dumb idiot and a dummy dum-dum, and I don't get my misogyny, but obviously, you know, I think.
And did you respond extremely
she was
well
just
to
saying
that
that-
and
no,
immediately
she
pick
was-
up the bell hooks?
No, she was saying that that's a gendered term, and that in later on she tweeted about it. She claimed that I called women unhinged, not one particular person that is potentially, I don't want to sound ableist, but unhinged.
Adam in the back of the car. We just got to get rid of women. I can't stand the fucking complaining.
I mean, granted, I was dressed and in my Andrew Dice Clay t-shirt. I was wearing my Dice Man Cometh t-shirt, and I was
Get rid of the broads.
I was smoking a cigarette straight
Around
in
your
their
head.
face. Yeah,
And
no,
also,
Dickory
anyway,
dock,
wearing-
Sadie can suck my cock.
so the
also
question.
wearing a mystery hat.
So I was just trying to ask her. So the last part was I was just trying to ask her, like, isn't it sexist to deny that women didn't like Hillary? Like, to deny that.
Dude,
Oh,
And-
what?
And
What
her
are you
face.
doing?
And so then she starts going.
this is a person who has crafted a elaborate
I didn't know who it
mind
was.
castle world where Hillary is president.
You don't wake up a sleepwalker, Adam. You never wake up a
Adam,
sleepwalker.
This is like if you see three people in matching jumpsuits and the same Nikes, and you're like, "What? You can't get on a comet by killing yourself. You know that, right?"
I was defending your honor, guys. Anyway, so she, in the middle of like my question that I was sitting on, she just starts going, "This conversation is over. This conversation is over." And I was like, "But I just no."
Wow. That's
It was
actual
done,
assault.
right? So then I'm like, so then we're like sitting there in silence, and
Cool.
the cab driver's like looking at me, and he's like just mouthing like, "What the fuck?" Because like, so then, you know, I feel bad. It's quiet. I feel like I got in like some sort of like argument in a relationship, and that we're taking like a quiet, like silent car ride together, and another 10 minutes in the car with this lady. So I was just like, I just like broke the silence by saying like, "Listen, like, I didn't wake up this morning trying to. I see you're upset, and like I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
You're
and I
asking
feel-
for mercy. That is the worst thing.
I know, because I was on the right side of history. But anyway, so I was like, "Listen, I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I can see you're upset, and I'm not like an asshole, and I don't want to like wake up and just mess with people that I don't know and make them upset. And I think I'm a pretty nice person, actually. And so then she goes,
Guy.
I didn't know that you can't say that you're nice. I didn't know that's
You didn't
against
get the press
rules.
release.
I didn't get the press release from Chelsea Clinton that I'm not allowed to say that. And so then she's like, exactly, a nice guy. When I said person, but she was like, a nice guy.
She's the one gendering you.
She's like, you're a nice guy. Like, you honestly, it was like in the tone of, you're too stupid to ever get woke. And like, you'll never be on my level. You're just a coordinated, harassing, brocialist piece of shit. I mean, she obviously, that was just the tone of all of it. The last part, right, of the story is like, so she rejects my apology. We're sitting in a silent cab, and the driver feels really awkward. So he just goes to me, like, after another 5 minutes of silence, he goes, so what's your experience with rideshare? Which was the first question.
Are you sure this wasn't a malfunctioning Johnny Cab?
So I was
Total
like-
Recall?
So I was like, honestly, I don't really take. I live in New York. I don't really take Lyft or Uber that much, but I'm taking Uber this week because it's very cheap in LA, and it's much more expensive in New York. And he goes to me, well, we're not in Uber, we're in Lyft. And I'm like, oh, I just call them all Uber. But actually, I deleted Uber, and then I looked at her.
Oh no!
This was like, this was my Larry David moment. This was like, I couldn't stop myself. We were like pulling up to the place I needed to go. I couldn't stop myself because I knew this would just infuriate her. But I just said, actually, I deleted Uber because the CEO is sexist to women.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I wish we had dashboard cam footage of her right after you left. Like literal steam shooting out of her ears.
That was a more awkward cab ride than fucking Travis Bickle and Martin Scorsese in Taxi Driver. You know who lives in that apartment? Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton lives in that apartment. It's not the White House, though. You know who's in there? You're going to laugh at this.
Well, look, actually, for the future, you don't need to defend us at all, ever, especially
I
not
don't
in
even
person.
need to mention you, really.
That's probably the best.
enjoy the show and know that it's not
Imagine
for everyone.
if I said come town. But yeah, so she then said, so then I was like nervous because some of the fans said they found the tweets. And I was like, they were like, oh, should we tell other people? And I was like, no. And then I guess that people found out. It's public speech. People found it. Whatever. I don't want to.
Yeah, she went on a tweet storm.
She went on a
about
tweet
you.
storm. And I was like nervous because I was like, I don't know. I don't want this person to get harassed. I don't want to prove her point, like, and so, but the fan, the Cum Nation, there's so much love in Cum Nation. The fans, one of them responded to the one, like, the serious, women don't give me the time of day vibes tweet, and posted a picture of me and Stav kissing and said, actually, he's in a happy, loving relationship. And someone's like,
That's great.
someone's like, actually, you harassed a queer Jewish youth. Which is like, I think that's
That's the best
positive.
way to respond.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
positive.
Like the whole thing, like the targeted harassment thing, just like means that you're popular, you have a lot of followers, and you made fun of someone's thoughts on a public forum.
Yeah.
Someone's like the thoughts that they've broadcast in a public forum, and you made fun of it.
That's one of the confluences between liberals and alt-right is that they both think posting is like war, and that if you like quote tweet someone or just even say anything about him and more than like two people tweet at that person, that's like assault. It's the same way that the alt-right guys are like, we're ready for meme war.
Well, but it's because those are the people who do like to participate in pylons. So, of course, it's what they ultimately fear the most.
Yeah.
So, in their mind, they're like, let's go after this, whatever, ninth grader in Tucson who, doesn't know what speech to use. That their greatest fear is it being turned against them, and so they interpret it when there's two people being like, "Oh, I don't agree with you."
Well, it's like a click, like any other click, like, I didn't think that this was like a big podcaster person, but she's got like a following, and she got like a response on Twitter. It's not like it's, the other thing is, I gotta fucking say, you really can't talk shit in LA. You can't talk shit on Hillary. You can't talk shit on any fucking movies because someone's probably there that worked on Boss Baby. So you got to be like, oh, that was good.
Well,
that was
I
good.
would like to meet them because I have a lot of questions.
I feel like if I was in Brooklyn for the most part.
No, but DC is like that. DC is totally like that.
Yeah, you can't even talk shit about the city of DC on the streets, or else you'll get people will get.
They all kiss
shit.
each other's asses. They're like, okay, ideologically, supposedly on paper, we're diametrically opposed, but there's no reason why we can't go out and get a bland burger.
People in DC love eating a burger that tastes and feels like a hockey puck.
They're very upset about these burgers they had in DC. They're like, they're traumatized.
The caliphate should honestly take over DC. It would make it a better city. It would end the chronic alcoholism problem among wonks, and they would have quality halal meat.
I have another idea. Boss Baby Burger.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Made with real baby.
Yeah.
It was really weird, and I didn't think that anyone would find out who it was or that she would have been tweeting about me. But I guess while she was sitting there angry, she was dragging me for her high sweeties online.
This is definitely the most boring episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that's probably not true.
Actually,
It's a very hit or miss show. Your show doesn't hold.
What if your phone knew your name? What if you and your computer had the same birthday? What if your mate was a TV? What if you had to plug your dog into a wall and charge him? What if instead of someone saying, how was your day, they said, what did you download?
Can we segue from that potentially that dystopian future to ours? And I just wanted to get Adam's thoughts on I think word of the week, phrase of the week, phrase of the year. Holocaust centers.
Yeah,
True. Yeah, we were just saying, like, we don't know why everyone's yelling at Sean Spicer. Like, that's hilarious. You have to pick your battle.
A room full of the finest comedy minds could be locked together with typewriters for 100 years, given the Boss Baby Infinity Immortality Syrup, and they would not come out with a fucking phrase as funny as Holocaust centers.
It's good. I mean, yeah, I'm not that angry. Another funny take, which was I heard a lot.
Really, you're not?
It's hilarious.
Why?
I mean, people are asking me to be mad about it. Like my dad called me. Both my parents on speakerphone called me about it. And they were like,
"Have you heard about the Holocaust centers?"
And they were like, on Passover, for them to do this on Passover. Adam, how dare he? Anyway, I just think the funniest part to me was that Sean Spicer called Sheldon Adelson to apologize.
That's the Trump White House. Like, you have to call the richest whatever race you offended.
Really, which is offensive because he's not a representative.
But like
of
Sheldon
Jews.
Adelson is like not even
He's
there
a
mentally.
mutant.
Like,
He's all cartilage at this point.
Who, and the real victim in all
His
this.
organs
and
have ossified.
I've seen him before. He's like goes around in one of those like golf cart.
Where
Like,
have you seen him?
at Jewish community functions in Las Vegas growing up.
Vegas, dude.
Yeah, I'm from Vegas. Yeah. I think the main victim in all this, and I think this is the lesson we can learn, is Bibi Netanyahu, because he should have gotten that call, and he should have been apologized to by Sean Spicer, because he is the president of all of us.
Bibi is, unfortunately, he's infallible. He's like the Pope to us.
Yeah.
He's greater than the Pope.
Yeah.
For me, it really proved that I don't even know if this is true, but in my heart it's true. Sean Spicer has to be a child of the American suburbs, because like he couldn't think of a phrase, and like instead of the word camp, he thought of center, like a fucking guitar center or a goddamn like electronics store in his shitty exurban hometown.
Yeah, he's
come on down to Holocaust Center.
I feel like he's just crying so much of the day that like I gotta give him the pass. And also he's so funny too.
He's hilarious.
He's so fucking funny.
He is the best one of all of them, and I hope he stays around. In fact, after Trump is president, I want Spicer to stay on as press secretary.
Hiccups and tears.
He just has to be comprehensively criticized
Show them all.
for hours a day by the president of the United States, that maniac. Just with the gray suit that he wore at the first presser, like when Donald Trump afterwards was like, "You looked like absolute shit."
That's why Trump met with Steve Harvey.
Oh man,
My man, you coming out to address the United States of America? How you looking like you still got the damn coat hanging in there? Now, Sean, you gotta think like a husband, but act like a wife.
oh
How are
man,
you going to represent the United States of America with only 3 buttons on that suit?
we need Spicer out there in the boat-sized double.
We need him in a 12-button eggplant 1998 NBA draft first round.
I want my president an aubergine.
Sean, we got you a double-breasted vest.
I mean, I'm still waiting for the fucking Ben Carson, Steve Harvey going around fixing the inner cities of America tour. We were promised that.
It hit a slight roadblock recently.
We got to talk about this.
Oh, because he got stuck.
Carson got stuck in an elevator today.
Another one bites the dust.
I did not consider myself as much stuck inside the Tyson Krupp contraption as much as I felt as though the world was stuck around me. There's no way to prove that the elevator wasn't moving, whereas the world had just stopped. I believe it was the prophet Jehoshaphat in the book of Gargamel who said that the man who travels in a stuck pontoon boat does not see the river move, for he is moving the river. I want to say to the firefighters who rescued me, though I could have escaped from it on my own talents, that I appreciate you for risking your lives and your family's lives for reaching into the metallic beast.
That's so good.
How long was he in there? And
like 4 minutes.
3 eons.
What is a minute to God?
Ben Carson is God.
No, that fucking rules. But actually, Adam, I wanted to ask you about another member of the Trump cabinet that you had a very funny story about. Stephen Miller.
Oh,
that
shit.
bug-eyed psycho looking like.
You haven't watched too much about him.
I was
lately.
LA. So
he was like the sort of like skull.
It really makes me worried that he's in a sub bunker of the White House with like a big whiteboard and it's all filled with a horrifying thing that he's going to unleash on us.
So I was just in LA. I'm from Santa Monica originally, like West LA. Liberal. They used to call it the People's Republic of Santa Monica. They'd always like elect fucking socialists and stuff because for their city council and stuff. Anyway, my cousin, and then we moved to Vegas and whatever. My cousin went to Santa Monica High with Stephen Miller, and he said that a couple things. We talked about it in LA.
Like Adam, like in profiles I've read of Stephen Miller,
Yeah.
like it talks about how he like forged his conservative blade and ire going to the ultra liberal Santa Monica High School.
I hate to like go on like the Paul prison Paul, what's his name?
Prison Planet.
But like in a place like Santa Monica, him like getting into conservative talk radio, like every kid was in like the liberal like upbringing was encouraged to have a thing, and so they were like, well, that's Steve's thing, like like he's just really into Rush Limbaugh, like like it's weird, but like that's
it's a healthy interest.
Yeah,
Pass.
He's a teenager and he's just gotten into some weird shit, and like we'll just let him get into it, and then he'll learn on his own.
Oh my god.
He
It's like
definitely
cautionary
called his
tale.
parents by their first names, for sure. He'd be like, whatever.
It's just an Alex P. Keaton situation.
For sure. Like sort of upper middle class, liberal Jewish family. But yeah, he got into conservative talk radio, and then he's like started writing op-eds for local newspapers. where he'd say like, "Oh, everyone in my high school is fucking, and they're giving the kids condoms so they can fuck, and it's so messed up that they're all fucking each other with the condoms that the school gives them. And if those condoms weren't there, they definitely wouldn't be having sex with each other. And the school is encouraging this behavior." But my cousin was telling me that he sort of breaks it down to the fact that he remembers like when they were like 11 or 12. It was actually his girlfriend Kelsey was in the same class as him. Like he started male pattern baldness. She's like, it just comes from
man.
that. She's like, it's all.
Oh God, yeah, no, he didn't have a chance.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance.
Well,
like
yeah.
he started going bald real young. But obviously the best story that they told me was he ran for student body president their senior year, and he gave a speech where at the end of the speech he got booed by all 4,500 students of the entire school. And so he ended the speech by saying, why should we be expected to pick up after ourselves when we paid janitors to do that for us? And literally the entire school just started booing him. And
he's so hateable that he made kids like boo littering. It's amazing.
Fuck you, bitch! Homework rules.
And so yeah, but it I just imagine him, this just bald 17-year-old boy on stage, instead of like, in high school it sort of is punk rock. I hate to I hate to say what Prison Paul is trying to say, but like
conservatism is the new punk rock.
It's the new punk rock. And yeah, no, fuck the Beatles. No, so fucking, in high school, I just spent my entire time making everyone think I was cool, or trying to make everyone think I'm cool. This dude literally wanted to antagonize the entire school. He wanted to be loathed. He was literally a wrestling villain. He was literally on stage getting booed by his entire school, which for any other normal, from what I would consider normal human being,
Like a
It would be a
psychically scarring
traumatic
event.
nightmare
Yeah.
end in a Jeremy spoken class today kind of situation.
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be the Carrie moment. Like just getting laughed at and booed by your entire school. But this dude was on stage, like putting his hand, cupping it behind his ear, like, "Can you hear that, sucker? Fuck the poor."
For a certain type of broken-brained individual who is met with revulsion by everyone they meet, they internalize that and make sense of it in their own mind by thinking, well, if everyone hates me and is disgusted by me, that means that I'm right. Like being hated is proof that your ideas are too much for the mob, the dumb normies to handle, and that you're just too fucking logical for them.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
mean,
Ted
this
Cruz
is
disease.
very basic antisocial,
Yeah.
like psychology. That's what they're like.
Yeah.
But I do
he
like
should-
the idea
he
of
should be
him
arrested.
as like the high school punk rocker, like
He's
like
punk rock,
like on
dude.
stage, like in front of his entire school. Like, Sid Vicious when he went on his solo act, that would just be like smacked up doing covers of Iggy Pop, and then would just be like, "Do I look like I piss myself? Fuck you, wanker."
I'm gonna do fucking affirmative action is racist.
Yeah, he's like the G.G. Allen of conservatism. Dude. It is the new punk rock, dude. I agree.
He takes a county property tax bill, like shoves it up his ass.
He's got all the Gigi Allen tattoos, but they're just logical fallacies.
Well, I mean, like there is a certain logic to this, like doing something so radically unpopular. There's something a little punk about that. But what he was doing was essentially, as a teenager, calling into the Larry Elder conservative talk radio program. So, like, sorry, I'm still
Yeah.
not buying it.
No,
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sucking up to that's
like
just a
he's
brown
weird.
noser.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a nerd.
Anything that people don't like is punk rock.
That's true, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I find that like when I really fart like crazy in a ride share, that's the new punk rock.
So what's your experience with rideshare? Let's break that down.
I mean, sometimes I got gas. No, I don't say a fucking thing. Is my experience with rideshare.
Well, yeah, you're in New York,
I mind my
dude.
business.
I
Yeah.
immediately start ranting about the White Helmets documentary.
What's our experience with rideshare? What's our experience with another form of transportation that everyone loves to hate? I'm talking about air travel, people, and the other hot news
What's the
item of
deal
this
with those
week.
peanuts there.
All right, so you want me to do my 20-minute chunk for my act on the airlines?
No, No, and United beating the shit out of that guy and kicking him off the plane.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what everyone's been talking about. For
They say bring your seat back up, and I'm like, backing up. How do you do both? That's my question. What's the deal?
The Chicago police actually beat that guy up because he said, "Fuck you, I'm getting in the plane, not on it."
Why don't they make the whole plane out of the black box? That's what I want to know.
Why don't they make the whole plane out of that Vietnamese doctor?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very excited for this segment. We have a new friend of mine. As many of you may have heard, I'm an ANCAP now. And the guy sort of guiding me through being an ANCAP, his name is Andy ANCAP. He's the fourth biggest ANCAP personality on YouTube. And he has some solutions for this.
What is ANCAP? Just for anyone who may not.
Andy Cap, everyone's favorite drunken, British lout from the comic books.
So what do a lot of people get wrong?
Hot fries?
The hot fries
Love
guy.
those
It
fries.
stands for anarcho-capitalism, but Andy Cap, that's the official snack of ANCAPs. They invented it. It's a volunteerist factory. The workers make $1.09 an hour, and it's a paradise.
But all of the hot fries.
Yeah. Exactly, and you just eat those, and you're like, "Wow, ANCAP works." But I think, yeah, we should talk to Andy right now.
Andy, what do you think of all this controversy over United using the police to beat the shit out of some guy and throw him off a plane that he paid for?
Greetings and mutual non-aggression. Andy ANCAP at your service. The ANCAP way to deal with this situation is, well, first that the United had absolute property rights to even kill this doctor if they wanted to, as the plane was their property, and the moment that you walk onto somebody's property, you are living by their principles. Luckily, through the non-aggression principle, murders do not usually occur because it would not be mutually profitable for both parties. However, we do recognize that there is great statist overreach onto airplanes and even the purchase of tickets, as was the case with this incident. So, the anarcho-capitalist way to solve this problem is to make airplane tickets worth $300,000. But they're not a ticket to buy just a single ride on the airplane. It is you own the seat as you would a house. And with each successive ride, it increases in value as it would during real estate. So, if you're a good passenger, the market value of your seat rises a good 10% year to date with compounding interest. But then you turn it around, you sell it to another guy who wants to fly. This way, because now everyone is a homeowner, there's no more assaults. And there's no age of consent because you're technically at sea. All right. Thank you guys for having me. I have to go buy a new cape.
I can't believe we got Andy ANCAP.
And that's
You got
what we
him
could
on
get
the
for
pod.
us.
I hope this will be the first of many appearances.
See, like, I don't agree with him on everything, but he's a smart guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but like I mean, aside from Andy ANCAP, I mean, we all know and respect his opinion. But who the fuck are the rest of these slugs going out of their way to defend United Airlines in this
Well,
situation?
what do they call it?
Wait,
They
who's
called it
defending them?
terrorism.
Oh, plenty of people. I read something from Tyler Cowen today, who was just like breaking down why, actually, according to economics, they really did nothing wrong. I mean, like, what do you expect
Well,
from this
here's
airline?
the thing. Anyone who...
They don't know the difference between rational and moral.
Yeah, that is true.
Moral doesn't mean anything. But that's just gibberish. Rationality is all we have. No, but like the people who are observing it from afar and choosing to side with the airline, fuck those people for eternity. They're just bootlickers. They're just instinctive, craven, just courtiers of power. But if you were on that plane and you wanted to see that guy get his head caved in, I totally understand. Because I want to get the fuck out of there, and this asshole won't fucking leave.
That's what they do. They use people's like discomfort of the situation against them, so that you blame the person being abused by authority.
Yes. It's not that they fucking dipshittedly overbooked the flight and then wouldn't pay for more and are like having like a staff, like using it for staff, travel. It's this asshole won't stand up.
But
I'll cut his head off
literally
myself. I gotta
interrogated. Like, I mean, like, this is like interrogation techniques. Like, this is what the military used to do. I think they've kind of phased it out, but it's like, this is the guy that's making it bad for all of you. Even though you're all being abused, they pick one guy who's like, well, you know, everything's shitty, but it's his fault.
It's Private
He's
Pile.
making me do this to you.
Yeah, smacking Private Pile with the fucking soapboxes. But I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure that they got those chairs they sat the guys in Abu Ghraib from the airlines. Am I right, people? I mean, they're a torture to sit in.
Small.
Seriously, I'll tell you anything you want, Miss Flight Attendant.
New rule.
New rule.
Chelsea Manning is being released from prison in May. Human rights activists criticized the U.S. government's treatment of Private Manning, saying that it was inhumane to put even a whistleblower in United Coach.
New rule. No, I just the loud. See, at the beginning, the loud wasn't present, but now the loud is loud right now. Yeah, we were doing when we were in LA. Me and Sav and Nick were walking around, and we kept just like seeing something like, why is this guy so bad at parking? Was it the Republicans? We just do every joke and the punchline be the Republicans.
Wait a minute, you were walking in L.A.? I thought that was illegal there, talking about the difference between L.A. and New York. Am I right, folks?
Yeah, whose idea was that? The Republicans.
God, he still has a viewership. It's
It's
insane.
an insane viewership, and yeah.
Oh God, I'm so mad at
More ways
Wardell.
than one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's all guys like my dad that just like they love it. They love it because he doesn't pussyfoot around those Muslims.
It's like, why can't I believe in sensible gun control and literally destroying the Middle East?
Yeah, I mean, well, wild times.
That's too.
Is he?
That's good. Just like Trump.
Yeah, but he's pro marijuana.
That's the only. Well, he's
pro the
basically on
ganja.
the. If you go to Whole Foods and smoke weed, you should never go to the doctor. He like literally believes
he
that.
doesn't think germ theory is real. Like, he's awesome.
New rule.
New rule.
I don't want to hear anything else about this incandescent theory of light. It's phlogiston, okay, people?
I wanted to do one, but I can't do the voice. But I really think we could have worked with Louis Pasteur and calling him a Republican.
Whose idea was that? The Republicans.
Thank you. I can't do the voice.
Boiling water to prevent infections? Whose idea was that?
The Republicans. You just don't even finish the word.
New rule. If you don't keep a window open to get rid of bad vapors and bad humored spirits, you have to run for Congress as a Republican.
What's wrong with Sarah Palin? Has she been sleeping in a room with a fan on and having her soul periodically stolen every night from her life? She's dumb, folks. Come on! Why are you laughing at that? He's also a shameless and berating his audience for not laughing.
You're weak.
He has the obnoxious body language too, where he does the hand thing. That very like, oh look, it's a nervous tick, but it's not a nervous tick.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is somewhat responsible for normalizing hawkishness among liberals. Anyway.
Yeah. New rule. If the Arab brain could process democracy.
Yeah, the only Jewish guy who's in Religulous is an anti-Zionist rabbi. Like, get a load of this nutcase. The chosen people were not given Israel by God? Look at this
that guy destroyed
weirdo.
That guy destroyed Bill Maher too, because Bill Maher was like, but don't you think that the only democracy in the Middle East should be preserved? And then he brings up the Holocaust. He's like, well, what about if the Holocaust happens again? Like, great arguments. But the rabbi goes, my entire family was killed in the Holocaust. And Bill Maher just stands up and goes, fuck this.
That was the one he walks out on. And it was,
You're right, he walked out on that one. That was after the guy in the Jesus costume owned him.
That guy owned him too.
Yeah. You
Jeez,
don't bring a Holocaust to a gunfight.
Don't bring a gun to the Holocaust Center.
Yeah,
I just keep hearing that Modern Lovers song down at the government center as down at the Holocaust Center.
Oh, the Holocaust Center. Oh, I'm thinking of Costco.
Wait a minute, is
actually.
Is that where you got those fucking shoes?
No, but I was staying across the street from the Holocaust Museum in LA. And stop. There's this
Did you
picture.
pick that?
There's this
Did you
picture
plan
that
that
which I
way?
think is one of the funniest pictures online. But Stav wanted me to recreate it, and I was even like, "Come on, dude, I'm not going to do that." But this guy Danny Green, who plays for the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs, was in Berlin at the Holocaust Memorial, and he takes a selfie with his hands like to the side, and like big smile on his face is like, and the caption is like, "Holocaust Memorial had to do it." So Stav's like, yo, take the Danny Green picture in front of it, like with your arms to the sides. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that.
You didn't do it?
But it is a point. It is a point of like just my tourism. Whenever I visit a city, I go to their Costco to see what it's like, and I do visit their local Jewish museum / Holocaust
This
Center.
is like some Tom Friedman shit. It's called the Costco and Holocaust Museum test.
If your country has more Costco's than Holocaust museums, you might have another genocide.
Yeah. No, we didn't actually end up going because I think it should be in Europe, right, guys? Why is it
God,
here?
totally.
Why in LA? Whose idea was that? The Republican? Oh man. So that doctor should have gotten dragged off the plane. What do you guys think?
No, but
No.
if
yeah.
I was on the plane, I understand if you wanted to see it.
What if
Because
they
that's
tried to
how
do it to
fascism
you, Matt?
works. That is
What
how
if they tried to do it to
fascism
you?
I would be
Obviously,
very.
people don't like it when they
Of
get
course,
beat
I
up.
would meekly
Yeah, okay.
submit to authority. I'm a fucking veal cat.
No, you're not. You were just telling me today how you almost got like pulled aside by TSA for like throwing one of the tubs because you didn't know that to go to Canada you had to keep your passport on you while going through the check.
That did
so you
happen.
had a fit.
It was a very small fit.
You got angry at pub quiz the other night. You stood up for the injustice of incorrect questions. Greenland is not a country.
Yes, well, it isn't for one
part
thing.
of Denmark,
Greenland
right?
is not. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Greenland is not
Jesus
a country.
Christ, there's two of them.
The least populous country by land area is Mongolia because it's an actual country, unlike Greenland. No, but if there's a fucking cop in my face, I'm not gonna get you mad. I'm a.
You know what I
I'm
say
a
to that
domesticated
cop?
American.
3 words.
You're a pug.
I'm a cuck.
3 words. Letters of marque. Do you have one, sir? No, you do not. By naval law, I can arrest you.
Well, did you see? Like,
I love the amount of balls that all those "Am I being detained" guys have because they actually do it and then they just get the shit beat out of them. They're so confident.
Never
I kind of
works.
believe those dudes like can only come if they get tased.
Yeah,
Like,
they
into
it makes
electrostim.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into electrostim.
yeah.
Well, actually, my favorite of like the contrarian United Airlines takes was the people who said, you know, a lot of sympathy for this doctor. I wonder how much sympathy there would be if you were wearing a "Make America Great" hat. And I just love that they have to invent these like totally fictional grievances and then get mad about the thing that
Now
they've invented in
imagine
their head.
that man was white. No, that's ridiculous.
You know, fair enough. I probably would have thought it was funnier.
That's
I mean,
true.
it was still kind of
No.
funny. Come on.
They have a point.
But,
No,
like,
but,
if
like-
he had a
like,
stupid hat on,
We would have been
funnier.
alarmed by the extension of violence towards a human being under,
yeah.
like, you know, a business.
Like here's what's crazy.
Imagine if it was Bana Alabet.
Like, this is the thing. Why does the Chicago Police Department have to enforce every bizarre detail of the contract you supposedly enter in with an airline?
Because in their modern form, they were invented as the shabiha for the fat fuck alcoholic dumbasses of the Daly family. And so now that the Dalys aren't in power anymore, just any fucking round-faced, fucking red-nosed Mick retard can give them, you just tell them to do anything, and they're like, oh, well, it involves beating up a minority, so I'll do it. That's the CPD. The CPD is bounded by the Constitution to just assault anyone that isn't white.
Yeah, we stumbled upon a fundamental contradiction between private property and public provision.
And I remember,
protection
okay,
of
so I
goods.
read about, like, how will this affect the markets? And they're like, yeah, this won't affect anything. No one cares, and they're beholden to airlines anyway, and they just know. They're just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
yeah, they're,
They had a big drop.
they
They had a
treat
big
you
drop
like
in
shit
stock,
anyway.
but it's gonna.
Yeah,
No,
bounce
it-
back. Yeah.
There was a dip. They're like,
it's
nah,
just a
we're
dip.
not worried.
It'll be fine.
Not
And,
even a little bit.
Credit our most, our most recent guest after Adam, Alex Perrine, had a really great article about how just airline deregulation is like like how airlines work now is like a parody of how like people think capitalism is supposed to work. It is capitalist, but it works in the exact opposite way in that there's like 4 firms that control every airline in America, and they have intentionally decided that it's more profitable to not compete with one another and thus just charge more for shittier and shittier service. And guess what? You can't vote with your dollar and go elsewhere.
I honestly think that I think that the modern airline industry is actually a giant Stanley Milgram experiment to see what like capitalists can get away with in abusing people, and like that data is being poured over, and like this thing was one of their big experiments. Like, okay, let's kick a guy in the fucking head
This
and
is
drag
a Stanford prison
his
kind of arrangement,
drag his unconscious body through it and have everyone see it. Let's see what happens. It's like, well, not really anything. I mean, others some choice Twitter owns that got aggregated by BuzzFeed. Oh, okay. Well, as some people pointed out, now we're just going to administer beatings at random, and you can pay for the privilege of maybe not getting hit.
Well, I only fly on Virgin Air, which is like flying at the club.
Bottle service?
Yo,
No, that's because they only allow virgins to fly on it.
no,
Oh!
that's not true, dude. It's
They looked at his shoes and were like, "Get this man a ticket, first
Yo,
class."
The shoes are bad, fam.
Yeah, these shoes are like my make people angry for the summer shoes. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, you're trolling people with
I'm
those
trolling,
shoes.
I'm trolling the homies, but I love them.
So that's catching us up on the hot news that's bringing up current events and news and everyone's water cooler discussion. But before Adam gets away, I want to talk about a topic that's hot to me.
Oh no!
Hot topic to the trap, and I want an update on our boy Popcorn.
He's just having a tough time right now. According to Snapchat, he's not having a tough time. He's just using a lot of guns. And not
He's
just
using them.
not
Don't
using
worry.
them, but he's just holding them in his Snapchat, and he's listening to a lot of Future and just,
Felix.
Yeah, this doesn't sound anything.
That sounds exactly like
Yeah.
Felix.
I just want to see if he's okay. I did send him a snap, and it was just like, "How's everything since you've been out?" And he said, "Good, man." So,
All right.
solidarity
Well,
with
what was the thing
Popcorn.
about how he was like, I heard they try to rob me, and he
Oh,
just has like
no.
a stack next to his ear. He's like, heard they try to rob me yesterday, and he's like holding the money that apparently people tried to gank from him.
Yeah, he's like, showing a lot of money on his Snapchat and talking about sort of maybe paranoia or not paranoia about people trying to rob him, but still, waving the money and the weapons around. The thing is like,
is he smoking gas on the snap though?
he's not smoking gas, but he's smoking mad ports. Just
But that's
busting,
legal. You can't.
blasting
PO
cigs.
can't.
Yeah, he's been smart enough
violate you
not
for
to
that.
do drugs on Snapchat, but he does have a lot of guns on Snapchat. But I don't know, they could just be doing it for a picture. But I don't know. The whole thing is sort of just taken me on this real emotional journey because I feel like I was following this boy, who I thought was funny.
This is your version of Boyhood.
Yeah, it is like Boyhood. Yeah, it's in that only white men are moved by it.
I'm glad you got that layup.
Yeah, thanks, yo. Yeah, shitting on the white man. I guess I learned something in that lift.
My God, he can be taught.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just a
the end of
boy that I was
Pygmalion.
following, and then I found out that the boy got in trouble, and I was concerned about the boy. I just thought he was funny because he was like, just had just
He's an outsized character.
was like a 14-year-old that like thought he was like a
cracker.
yeah. He thought exactly. He's a rambling boy,
larger than life.
Larger
Who doesn't
than life.
love- It's beautiful.
And then shit
It's
got
like
real.
if Thurman Merman got on the gas.
And now I feel sort of like, like this responsibility to check up on him and make sure he's okay. And I really hope he is okay.
I really hope this all ends with you adopting him.
I really want him to be my son. And I'm going to tell him, you know what, Popcorn, I know that you're a savage, but I will not accept that kind of language in my household. I don't care if your friends don't mind you using that word. It's not a word that white folks should be using, and it's got a lot of history behind it. And
Okay, this could be a sitcom. We could pitch this tomorrow.
Yeah.
An
I'd watch
adult
this.
comic and fan of the internet stumbles upon a struggling young Instagram gangsta and feels like he doesn't have anyone in his life. I'll be the role model.
oh, I know.
And you both go to LA to like start your careers. You as
Yeah.
a comic, him as a rapper.
Yeah.
I told him, I did quote Will. I told Will, and Will's like, well, just tell him to make this money legally in the rap game. And so I told him that. He's like, yeah, bet, dude. That's what I'm working on right now. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. At least if he still has this dream of being a rapper, which I don't know if I should encourage, but whatever,
Reach for
You
the
just encourage
stars.
him. You just get the legal
Go for
paper.
it.
You have a lot
Yeah.
to learn about fatherhood.
There are all these. I just feel like on a larger scale, there are all these people online who like aren't like well known, but I feel like I've been following their lives for years now, and I feel like really weird about like there's this guy Nick 420 that I've just been watching smoke weed online for like 6 years now. And like I know, like we found out he's married, and we found out like he got a new apartment, and he got rid of the Bob Marley poster.
He's growing up.
It's in the cradle and the silver
growing up.
spoon.
You know,
Little boy play with the man in the moon.
exactly. I feel like I'm following these people's lives, and it's just like, or just regular freak shows from high school that I'm still at 30 years old, just like watching, have Facebook meltdowns and stuff, and just like I love it still. I can't quit them. I can't quit all these people. And I guess I'm just going to keep them in my lives forever and then write them a letter on my deathbed, each and every one of them. Popcorn. In the voice of Morgan Freeman. Popcorn, I love you. I've always loved you. For 60 years, I've watched you grow into a beautiful young man.
Well, respect to Pop, a true savage. Respect to Adam Friedland, a true friend.
Guys,
For sticking up for his friends. That's
Yeah.
what a true
Happy
friend
birthday,
does.
Adam.
Happy birthday as well.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well done.
I'm a man of 30.
Happy birthday to your sister, too.
Oh, yeah.
Who shares the same birthday
We
with
have
you.
the same birthday, 4 years apart. And my dad,
You have
my
your-
dad used to tell all my friends, it's because my wife only lets me have sex with her once a year, and then all my friends would be like, "Yo, your dad gets no pussy." He thought he was being the cool dad, but by complaining about his sex life to 13-year-olds, but he was not cool in their eyes at all.
So next time, Adam.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Hey,
It's
Matt.
rude.
Hey, Matt, it's your pal Adam. I'm just checking in.
Hey,
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You're rolling?
yes.
You know that like Cum Boys, we like to do parody songs
Yeah.
about where we involve having sex with our fathers. So I like to, I'm a little bit more of the news junkie of the crew. So I like to also make parody songs ripped from the headlines, but also have them involve having sex with my father. So, so I have a new one I was doing in the shower today. I don't know if it's going to be funny. We can cut it if it's not, but this is to the tune of "Don't Worry, Be Happy." But did that guy kill himself? I remember there was like a thing. Like, do you know that guy that did "Don't
Bobby
Worry"?
McFerrin?
Yeah, Bobby McFerrin killed
No,
himself.
he did not.
Okay, here it is. My daddy's dick is larger than life. Mine is small and naughty but nice. Don't worry. Coffee fee. So that brings in the meme that we're all talking about, guys. Kafifi and a little bit of flavor about having sex with your dad. So I just wanted to bring my perspective to the show.
The best memes combine two. The best jokes combine two or more ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Good one.
Adam Friedland joining us,
Yeah.
everybody.
We got Adam. We got
hey.
Adam in the trap. Safe space where he is respected, and I just want to extend our welcome to Adam. Our political humor. Kafifi is fake news.
Oh,
Felix, haven't you been like sort of remixing like '90s like pop punk songs to be about incest and Donald?
Yeah, no, I've been doing that. I've been, I have this idea.
You used to do the "What's My Age Again"? What was the version you did?
My first joke for "What's My Age Again," and I'm afraid it's going to be cut by censorious producers because technically we would get sued. But it's Alan Dershowitz listening to "What's My Age Again," and he's like, "Oh wow, this is not at all what I thought it would be about." But no, I was thinking about if. Okay, cool. Yeah, it is bonus. He's probably not a gray wolf, but and it doesn't say accuse him of anything. It's just saying he's listening to it. And
somebody yesterday did a tweet joking about how they like just realized that the Blink-182 album title "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket" is like a double entendre with jacket, and it's about masturbating. And it wasn't until I read that tweet that I finally got it.
Wow, you loser!
I never got that. I just thought it was just a stupit phrase,
dude. And
now 20 years later, I'm like, oh shit, it's about masturbating. Those guys are way cooler than I thought.
Blink-182 has this song called "Stay Together for the Kids," which is about divorce. I was on a nostalgia music video trip a couple weeks ago, and the first frame in like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like black with white font, it says 50% of American households are destroyed by divorce. There's like a fucking it's the best disclaimer before a music video of all time.
I was reading the Blink-182 Wikipedia article for the same reason, and when I got to Mark Hoppus's one, it was like I was a really normal kid until my parents got divorced, and that's what made me so twisted that I started Blink-182.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Which one of the Blink-182 frontmen
Tom
is now a serious UFO researcher?
Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, he started a band called Angels and Airwaves and kept saying things in the media like, I have just created the greatest album in human history. And then he released this album, which is all about like, we're looking at the stars, it's just like, planets, and then like 6 months later, he says, he released a statement that said, I was on a ton of back pills and I thought I was making the greatest album of all time, but it turns out that I was just in an opioid-induced frenzy and I just used a lot of delay pedals and you should not take those quotes seriously. But now he's investigating, now he fucking broke the fucking greatest band up to investigate UFOs, that fucking coward.
I saw Mark Hoppus is like a Trump Russia guy now, and I saw someone replying to him. They're like, "Sir, Mr. Hoppus, sir, do you know if the 25th Amendment will be invoked against President Trump?"
This is down a similar path. I was just reading today. Did you guys see the thing about how these two Silicon Valley dipshits have this new
Hoppus has got to be like on their agenda as potential candidates, right?
Yeah, well, check this out. It's called the WTF caucus, and it's like,
that's so irreverent.
It's these two.
Wait a minute, there's a swear in there?
Well, no, it doesn't actually stand for what the fuck. It stands for win the future, I think, but it's like a cheeky.
Never mind.
They're these two like Silicon Valley shitheads who are like going to create the next MoveOn.org to like disrupt the Democratic Party, and they're like, we love the Democratic Party. We think it's gone a little too left in some areas and not enough in others. I wonder which areas. But anyway, mentioned in all of the press about like their platform and this new think tank, and the person they're interested in running for office is the former frontman of Third Eye Blind.
Hell yeah.
Stephen
Jenkins.
Stephen Jenkum?
No, Jenkum.
Stephen Jenkum?
Yeah, me and my boy Todd Fuck, who started Revolution Partners. We invented the Juicero. We have a new political movement. It's called the N-Word Caucus. No, I know what you're thinking. It's a double entendre. N-word is innovate, and we're gonna run the guy from InXS. We're gonna bring him back to life using technology, and he's gonna jack himself off on stage while auto asphyxiating and be like, Donald Trump, sir, this is what you're doing to America.
Sorry, it says the guiding principle behind Win the Future, a new project by the tech duo that's launching in time for July 4th. The effort, called WTF for short, aims to be a new movement and forth within the Democratic Party, which can act like its own virtual party, said Pincus, lead architect, during an interview.
My favorite response to that was from a guy, another tech dick, who says, "Yeah, you know what? I feel like this is just trying to, stay within the Democratic Party. I think what America needs is a new party, a party of people from both sides who understand the importance of decorum. It should be called the Dignity Party." And it would include people like John Kasich and Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
And everyone who and Susan Collins and everyone who agrees that we can get together and have common sense solutions as long as we use our inside voices. And the real fucking kick is that the guy in question is the blood-sucking vampire who runs Ticketmaster.
Oh.
And one of the worst rent-seeking shitheads of all time.
But
and he's like, you know what? I think there's a way in that we could be in the middle. Shock.
And his two, figures of dignity are a hobo and a woman who faints and vomits all the time.
And Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude.
Well, I mean, didn't they have that song that was about, being on meth?
Yeah. Semi-charmed kind of life, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So he would be the perfect candidate to tackle the opioid crisis.
And they also had a song about teen suicide that was, well, wish you would step back from
that ledge, my friend. Cut ties with all the lies.
It should just be all not Blink-182, that's the Democratic Party. The Third Eye Blind, it's the Radical Moderates. Chumbawamba, that's the
leftist.
Leftist. We're with Chumbawamba.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sum 41 is alt-right now.
Sum 41 is alt-right. Tool is now he's also Oathkeeper situation.
I know my oath fits because I watched the Constitution break. Muslim in office sucking dick. What more can this country take? He's eating dog in the Oval Office. Have you no decency?
Oh man!
Wait a minute, is that true?
Yeah.
Maynard James Keenan a fucking Oathkeeper?
No, that is Tool. Sorry.
I don't know if he's an oath keeper per se, but he's very right wing. I saw something recently from him where it was a photo of him, and he has a vineyard apparently.
Yeah, I saw some awful documentary about him building some shitty vineyards in Arizona.
That sounds like the worst
Arizona wine country.
I think that was
the most arid state in America.
It was a Werner Herzog documentary. It's like, how is this crazy man in the middle of the desert who makes professional butt rock?
His songs appear to be about the complicated math that Americans do in high school.
No, he's
he does songs about the cosines.
He's like a Blue Lives Matter guy, and I saw this thing, something online where he was it was a photo of him at his vineyard, and he was capping it, being I got a request online. Someone asked me if the wines produced here are vegan. And I said, they won't be now. And he was literally dropping bacon into a cask of wine.
Just and I was wine worse.
Yeah, nothing having just rotting meat in a cask of wine. But yeah, that's who the singer of Tool is now.
When you're fucking shitting your guts out from trichinosis, you know that you're owning the libs with every bloody bowel movement.
Also,
I gotta say, what kind of moron asks if wine is vegan?
Yeah, that's a really stupid question.
So. I was thinking
about
that.
I'm starting to think that actually didn't happen.
No, I was thinking about it, and it's since I heard that, I was 90% of things like this, that question wasn't asked. I see some of these things where they give the guy a perfect setup where it's is there a safe space in your gun corporation? So whatever guy can be yeah, there's a safe space. It's called the safety on my gun before I shoot you.
No, that's a real thing. I don't know if it applies to wine, but I know in some liquor production processes they use a filter of some kind that involves an animal product.
Yeah.
So vegans can't drink certain liquors. That's why there are vegan bars.
Yeah, I made a girl dinner once, and she refused the wine, and then refused the condoms that I had because those weren't vegan either. Apparently, we can cut that from the podcast.
She refused you, is what you're saying.
No, I had to go with a boner to the bodega to get Lifestyles, which are vegan. But Trojan apparently uses animal products because she had a phobia of any type of animal. Why am I still talking?
And now you know.
What animal product?
I mean,
is
the
in
only
Trojan
animal product
condoms?
is in
I
like
think the lubricant, maybe.
Hey,
Well,
this
it's
is
not-
the animal product right here, baby.
Hey.
the only animal product in them is like right on the center of the tip. So if you just like prick that out with a pin and then put it on, you're fine. You're good.
Hey, you know, if you laugh at those vegans, but if the British Army had used vegan gun cartridges, the Sepoy Rebellion never would have happened.
That was when they greased their bullets with like tallow, beef tallow,
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
like
Beef and pork, and all the Muslims and Hindus.
they
were
pissed
very
off
mad about
everyone basically.
Uh,
But just as long as we're on the topic of like these sort of like fake outs that people take seriously, did you guys see the thing about like the new hot thing on the alt-right is making up Antifa protests and then to have people come up to counter protest? So it's like you're kickstarting your own protest by creating a fake one. And the one that happened over the 4th of July weekend was they were like, Antifa is going to be burning Confederate flags at the Gettysburg battlefield this weekend. All patriots show up. And a bunch of people did, including one guy who like shot his toe off with a blunderbuss.
that. Yeah, that ruled.
Yeah.
But that's so instructive because it shows that at this point they're still afraid to show what they actually want. You know, because they basically, that's why free speech is their stupid rallying cry. It's because they are still too circumspect to come out and be like, white nationalism, that's it, that's what we want. Because
You're right.
They're worried about a backlash from that. So instead, they need to have some people disrespecting history or some shit to excuse them standing around in their fucking cargo shorts, improperly carrying guns.
Do they actually think they're trolling Antifa by doing this? Like, has anyone ever shown up like, "Hey guys, I'm here for the anti-fascism rally"?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like trolling per se as a way to just kind of get their message out there and make Antifa people look bad, or I don't know.
I don't know. I remember that was the Gettysburg thing you're talking about, right? Where the guy shot himself. There was I saw a guy who he was like a fucking 3%er biker guy, and he posted these pictures of a deserted street in Gettysburg with just like some motorcycles there, and says, "Yep, not a single Antifa in sight. I'm out enforcing right now."
This is like the Bear Patrol.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm not surprised it happened because if you had to have me guess which cast member of 8 Mile would end up in the alt-right, I would have guessed Cheddar Bob.
I think they should keep. I think Antifa should get behind this and just like keep making up fake events, because for these like 3%er oath keeper like
so too,
middle-aged guys, that's just a whole day for them.
And
this is just wasting their
Send
time.
them to Burning Man. How
Yes.
hilarious!
Oh,
would
yeah,
that be?
yeah.
Tell them that there's a massive Antifa protest in the middle of the Nevada desert, and if they're on a unicycle, that means that they hate Reagan, and you should just fucking mow them all down. They don't use currency because they're fucking what is that?
they're burners.
They're burners.
They're Bernie
Yeah.
burners.
Well,
I mean, like, if you actually like want to fight and harm those people, like most Americans don't know how to fight. It's just every video I see from those rallies where it's like Proud Boy beats the shit out of Antifa. It's just a skinny fat guy falling on another skinny fat guy. But if you actually want to harm them, just like let them stand around by themselves. Like
in August heat.
yeah, one of them
They'll
will
have to shoot
collapse. Like they
something.
keep accidentally shooting themselves
Or
one
having
guy
a heart
had
attack.
That asshole at the Sharia march in New York just had a fucking heart attack and died on the stage.
Take that, Islam.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like about these fake protests. Like, I think we should start doing this and creating like fake Antifa protests to get like Proud Boys and other various Keck related groups to show up to. But it'd be basically like the scene in Police Academy, but we set it at the Blue Oyster Bar.
Oh, me and Virgil were talking about the Armenian guys that like stabbed that Proud Boy the other day.
Who's that guy? He was like the bodyguard of like Baked
Apparently,
Alaska or
the
something.
fucking stick imbecile has a bodyguard who's just a fat guy. And I don't really know the full outline of the story because all the sources are from them, and they just like make shit up all the time. It might as well just be a fucking hoax for to fucking
But
rip
first, like,
people up.
I saw a photo of that guy in a hospital
he's in
bed.
a hospital. So their version of the story is they were in fucking downtown Los Angeles or somewhere thereabouts, and they were I guess they were out in full force with their fucking wooden shields and their mismatched helmets and their fucking mop heads, and I guess they were out defending Western cultural values in this area which is dominated by these this Armenian gang.
Armenian Power, like one of the most terrifying gangs in the world.
Yeah, apparently they like pushed MS-13 off their turf once.
Yeah, in Glendale. And so, these people's grandparents were like the people that killed all the collaborators in the Armenian genocide 100 years ago.
Damn.
And so they show up, they're just like in America and they terrify other people who kill people. And then they just see these guys in like hockey masks and wooden shields. And
They're holding
like,
fucking cartoon frog signs.
yeah, they're like, oh, kafifi, good sir.
But wait, I saw the photo of that guy like laid up in a hospital bed or whatever, and I was like, "This is my bodyguard or whatever." He didn't look like a He just looked like he looked large.
I have a suspicion that did not actually happen. My guess is that they were making Pepe masks at a Kinko's, and he accidentally lanced his scrotum with a 3-hole punch.
My guess is he sat in a kitchen drawer.
But I have I nominate that he had like a Pepe tie on under his combat uniform, and it got caught in a hot dog roller.
One of the funniest things.
It gets worse before it gets better.
That's true. This is true for both the white civilization and the hot dog roller situation.
One of the funniest things I saw from that was that fucking Baked Alaska guy posted. Just heard that Base Stickman's bodyguard's in the hospital, heading there right now. Going to start streaming in 15 minutes.
Oh my god, imagine you're like dying and Baked Alaska is like, yo, can I get those hearts going for white civilization? This is the last thing you see before you die. It's just a retard.
So, we were talking...
we're doing a rap song for the troops, but only the white ones.
So it dawned on us that... It dawned on us that the primary Proud Boys, the ones who wear the literal LARP costumes and go around, are reviled by every normal person that they meet in society. Like, Felix was telling me about some video where Proud Boys were just getting beaten up by 14-year-old skaters.
Yeah, they got chased out of a park by these skateboard kids.
It's like, you see them, it's like, who the fuck are these guys coming up the hill?
Like, some Oath Keepers, speaking of the Oath Keepers, they, like, in Houston, they, like, just grabbed some dude in a fucking headlock and pushed him out of their shithead protest because he was waving a bunch of stupid meme placards, and they thought that it made them look foolish. I mean, I don't know where they got that idea.
That video is great.
That video is all. If you read the comments of the video, just like a bunch of other 14-year-olds, like the guy who got choked, being like, "We're gonna fucking kill that guy." And it's like, no, you're not. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, they should. I don't know if Channel 1 is still a thing, but they should start every school day with that video as a scared straight thing. The guy just whining, like, they're good memes. I thought, yo, dude, I thought I would make friends.
They're good memes, Brent.
So send them, if you want to make a fake event, just send the Proud Boys anywhere. We liked a place in the Armenian gang territory that's like literally a front. Just say like, oh, they serve halal food.
Yeah. They don't have any refrigerators.
Antifa is going to be tagging Confederate monuments in the Pacific garbage patch.
Antifa is doing a die-in in Death Valley for Black Lives Matter. We need to go there with double as many people.
Bring a lot of milk. No water, just milk.
Yeah.
Just milk.
Yeah.
What I would like the most about this is I presume now the Proud Boys are like, Armenians are no longer white. They're not Caucasian.
Well, they probably thought they could make common cause with the Armenians because they're like, well, you got genocided by Muslims too. But just as, even like a It's a terrifying gang member like sees the guys in the masks and fucking bass stick man, and they're like, any normal person's reaction is just immediate bullying, and the AP Armenian Power version of that of bullying is just to stab someone. So,
well, this is actually a good segue from the fascist movements of the past and present coming together. I saw this news item just today, and I knew we were having Adam on, and I knew we had to talk about it because this one is also sort of a callback to the last time you were on, Adam. One of the things we discussed was NBA basketball player Danny Green's selfie at the Berlin Holocaust Memorial.
Yeah, had to do it one time. #Holocaust.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite selfies on the internet.
It's up there.
So fucking good.
It's up there. But to one up the Spurs Danny Green, there is a now one Clay Higgins. Oh, Clay Higgins from down in Louisiana. He is a Louisiana politician who has recorded a special video. It says, I'm looking at the video right now on YouTube. It says, Clay Higgins has a message for America, from Auschwitz. And I was just thinking, I think we should just watch this. It's 5 minutes. We can edit it down if need be, but I think we should just watch this message from Clay Higgins to America from Auschwitz. So,
Can be a railroad anywhere, right? Except for this one's at Auschwitz. Birkenau. The expansion of Auschwitz, where 4 more large gas chambers were built. They could murder 2,000 people at a time. On these rails rode those poor souls.
this is like Hank from Breaking Bad talking to you.
Great sense of dread.
Could I get a Mr. Pibb? Well, all right. Have a nice day.
The shoes. They love the shoes in Holocaust remembrance.
What are those?
Every single one of their shoes looked like a fan.
They never went down to Auschwitz. He was looking for some souls to steal.
Oh man.
Oh, this should not be as funny as it is.
What is his job?
Cyclone.
Congressman.
He's in the House. He's a House, but he used to be one of those fucking like Felix talked about how the first generation of T-Cats was like pissed off small town cops writing letters to Kanye West.
Yeah, he's one of those
That was
guys.
how he got famous. He was the cop who would write the indignant letters to ungrateful celebrities, and now he's in the fucking Congress.
Guards.
He's literally in a gas chamber right now, doing like a
Cyclone
selfie
5.
video.
Cyanide pellets activated.
Y'all keep those hearts going. You like this?
After about 20 minutes, everyone was dead. And then slave labor.
Boomhauer, keep that camera still.
His Cajun accent is incredibly distracting.
Yeah.
It's like what you want to do is you want to get some of them Jews down. And you want to build some Cyclone B, and what you get out of that is you got some genocide right there, my friend.
Now these Jews ain't have no toilets.
This is why Homeland Security must be great.
2,000 dead Jews in 15 minutes, I guarantee.
Suffocation cell. Punishment cell. Ran out of air.
I mean, if you're watching it, it's just his giant egg-like head just dominating the frame as he solemnly tells you about the man's inhumanity to man.
Did he just learn about this?
Every year in Europe, they have an event called the Holocaust. We have to stop this.
The world's a smaller place now than it was in World War II.
No, it's not.
The United States is more accessible.
No.
Terror like this. It's hard to walk away from gas chambers and ovens without a very sober
need for Mr. Pibb?
Commitment. Unwavering commitment. Make damn sure that the United States.
This is like when Warren Schmidt visited the Indian Museum. Those people got a raw deal.
Think of how great it'll be when Trump visits the camp.
Oh,
I can't wait.
wait, what?
Slideshow.
That was just some still.
Show. That's the
Yeah,
show
this-
icon.
yeah,
Show
yeah,
icon. Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that was.
That was.
I'm Representative Gun Shithead. Primo Levi said that there ain't no monsters but men who will fulfill their deeds. That's why OSHA has to be stopped.
The last image was just still of just his bowed head covered in a cowboy hat with his arms up
With his police uniform
with his
on.
police uniform on, superimposed with an American and Israeli flag.
Hell
over
yeah,
him.
bro.
Open letter to Adolf Hitler.
So I remember when Clay Higgins ran for Congress first because he was this Joe Arpaio wannabe who did these Crime Stoppers videos that got him fired because he would just straight up name like local criminals and name them. And like that he did the celebrity thing. But before that, you'll be interested to know he's not even really a fucking cop. He was a used car salesman. Just like all that fucking guys.
Wait, he stole cop valor?
He became a cop through some fucking
Like Steven Seagal did.
yeah,
in
kind of like
Louisiana.
that.
Yeah.
And then he like had jobs in the fucking police, and now he's still a legal law enforcement agent in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh,
while
hell
being a
yeah.
cop.
Yeah, and he places like McDonald's employees under citizen's arrest when they
Yeah.
don't give them enough fries.
Yeah, and he's the guy who posted this Facebook thing a couple months ago, just literally just calling for the genocide of Muslims. He's one of the worst people alive.
Oh, that's
No, but
terrible.
you have to have a genocide of Muslims, or else they'll genocide us.
Yes, or else, and this is a good view into his apocalyptic mindset that the Muslims are coming because we have open borders and they're going to set up death camps for us.
They're building them right now.
Yeah, that's what every mosque is. That's
Yeah.
why they have a curved top. That's how they store all the cyanide gas.
I would say this guy is, setting himself up for a Fox News career, but, he's probably going to be in the Senate in a few years. He's a
No, he'll
very
be
red
president.
district in
Fuck that.
Louisiana.
If Sheriff John Bunnell doesn't beat him to it, he'll be the first cop president.
I just am imagining him detaining like teenagers, being like, "Y'all boys ain't planning on doing any Holocaust now, are you?"
I'm going to ask you some questions about some local criminals you know. Do you know any Reinhard Heydrich?
I love how that video started off with the train tracks because there's this weird cross section between train guys and Holocaust people where they always talk about how many train tracks there were at Auschwitz. I mean, apparently they were running a ton of trains to get a ton of Jews there.
Yeah.
They were like,
Way
yeah,
better
there was
than the
like,
MTA.
There were like 14 consecutive train tracks in the middle of Auschwitz. It was incredibly impressive. But the Nazis were able.
Well, the Nazis had a very efficient train switching
Yeah.
system.
Well, they kept him running.
I gotta say, I think he's getting a lot of heat for this, but I think in the long run it's gonna blow up in his face because an increasing percentage of his base doesn't think the Holocaust happened.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, most of the people who would otherwise approve of the message of this video, when they see it, it's like he might as well be at medieval times for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of my friends did this trip. I didn't do it in high school called March of the Living, where they send scared Jewish teenagers to all the camps, and then they send them to Israel
Zionism
afterwards.
rules.
They're like, "We're gonna scare you with the Holocaust, and then show you why we need Israel so much." And it's like this. I knew a bunch of people that got head and stuff. We're in Poland. I know people that have lost their virginities in Poland because the girls were so upset about seeing Nazi death camps, and these kids would start acting out sexually because they didn't know how to handle the gravity of what they were seeing every day on this fucking terror tour that they take kids on.
Well, not only that, going to Poland just in general must suck.
Terrible.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's fun. Maybe I'm
I
giving
think
it a
Warsaw
bit.
is chill.
Maybe
now.
they got a cool club scene there now.
Yeah, I think they do actually. Yeah.
I mean, I am often just blown away, and I can't even get my head around the fact that the most comfortable, secure people on Earth, these exurban, suburban, middle-class people who form the basis of of the political support for guys like this shithead are 100% convinced that there's going to be a genocide of like guys with jet skis within 5 years. Like, how the fuck do you have that level of dissonance between your day-to-day life, in which you sit on your fucking fat ass and watch TV, and then you climb in your fucking SUV and you go and you go to a fast food restaurant, you get a gigantic burger and you eat it in total comfort and silence, and you go home and you watch TV again and you go to your bullshit job and you do that in air conditioning, and you never confront a single element of your existence that is in any way difficult. You have no difficulties. But while you're going through that life, in your head, you're imagining a world in the very near future where some terrorist is taking an AK-47 and like forcing you onto a cattle car to send you to a gas chamber. How do you fucking like deal with that kind of dissonance? It's insane.
I think it's a few things.
It's genuine psychosis.
I think it's, these people have been fed for the past 16 years the most vicious, apocalyptic, anti-Muslim propaganda. That, and they also live in incredibly segregated communities. Matt, you saw that picture that went viral recently of the fucking people on the subway? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I saw it today.
It's a viral picture that shows how great America is.
Oh,
and
yeah, that Muslim family.
I get. Well, for one, how do we know he's a Muslim guy? He's just like
okay. The photo is
brown, close enough.
It was the New York City subway, and it was like a photo of like two little girls, like a little girl smiling at a baby, it's like a mother and a daughter who are white, and then I assume a father and daughter who are brown of some kind. Yeah, just brown.
Skin, yeah.
And the kids are smiling at each other, and everyone was like, "This is what makes America great." And I'm like, what a fucking low bar to clear for a country.
It's the lowest. Wait, is this actually shocking to people in the geo-hell that is the middle of the country? And I thought for a second, and I came to the answer, yeah, this is so outside people's normal experiences.
When you're at the Starbucks in, suburban shit-pick Kansas or whatever, you're not seeing anybody who doesn't look like you. So you can imagine anything. And I do think that, like, at the base of this is there's some sort of primal knowledge to these people that the insane comfort they have is not earned. And that there's some injustice in the world that has allowed them to accrue it, and that there is like a cosmic balancing coming, and they're fucking terrified of it. It's like they're all living with that Jefferson quote, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just." It's all there in the back of their head that they don't confront it, and they're so mad about the idea that they would ever be called to account for the absolute just debauched splendor, the undeserved splendor that they live in, that they just become obsessed with these fantasies of massive retribution because they know in their hearts that they have it coming.
Like, they know deep down the world is changing in ways way beyond their control. Like, yeah, nothing is ever going to be perfect, but people are always gradually liberalizing on their views, a lot of things, and the world in 50 years is going to look totally different than these people's ideas of how it should be. And they also know that they're not going to do anything. These aren't doers. Their closest thing to action is like going into a voting booth and wedging in there every 2 years to vote for like Gertz shithead and
Clay Higgins.
And so knowing that they're not going to do anything except like these sort of signaling things like eating Chick-fil-A and carrying guns to a movie theater, they're totally powerless. But with like Trump, with all of like this type of shit, the open calls for genocide, it's more out in the open than it has been in the like 16 years before it, because it seems so much more unavoidable now, and it seems so much closer to them. And like these people are actually like dying now. We're gonna have so much fewer of these people in 4 years than we do have now, and it's just becoming so apparent to them how little they can change the world to continue in the way that they think it should be.
Well,
so it's just a spasm.
Don't you think that in the next 100 years, so much of the planet is going to be so uninhabitable that we're going to have these mass population migrations, right? And we're going to have to, at a certain point, account for millions and millions of people having to relocate to different parts of the world. And that's why, like, Syria is sort of a precursor to, these, what's going to happen, like, these massive, like, dislocated groups of
Upheavals
people.
yeah.
So like I think like effectively like we're gonna have this but times 1,000 because there's gonna be groups populations that are 1,000 times bigger that the world's gonna have to just decide what to do with, like people from Miami, for instance.
They're not coming here.
Yeah, no.
I don't want
build that wall on the state line of Florida.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Mr. Worldwide, go anywhere else.
Well, yeah, but also, I don't like a lot of people don't have the means to even become refugees, and I think in a lot of these cases, people are just going to stay and they're going to die because they have no other choice. People are already dying in Bangladesh; it's a direct consequence.
They're just
going to
stay
change.
in the sea.
I mean, they're going to be in areas with extreme climate events.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the only thing is like, unless someone like invents something, which is usually how the two things that happen in human history is either like a shitload of people die, like an insane amount of people die, or someone invents something. But
Hey,
we'll see.
Honestly, Felix, that is the Simpsons version of what would happen. Is we have been acting irresponsibly and stupidly for decades, but then someone comes along and develops something that saves us all at the last minute.
Yeah, those are the only two things that ever happen. Something's invented where we don't learn the lesson we should have, or everyone dies and we also don't learn the lesson.
We're making the shift as a civilization to video chat, everybody. But actually,
Camboy civilization.
I just think we're just going to build more and more walls. That's basically it.
Well, actually, this is a good segue to we're talking about building walls. We're talking about insanely entitled and afraid suburban assholes who just hate and fear anyone or anything different than them, and also prank videos online.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'm bringing this up because I came across this again today. Steven Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
My man.
Yeah, we've discussed him, I think, briefly on the show before. But
he has fought Islam so much by putting on a dress and like having sex with men just to own Islam.
He's like his classic move is the Bugs Bunny as a girl thing, but like he puts on like a very bad
drag
outfit, and then like goes to the women's
He's
protest.
he's why the hidden imam stays hidden. He doesn't want to bump into Steve Crowder.
He does. His pranks are just like the dumbest, most thoughtless, like just immediate ideas. He makes James O'Keefe look like the Yes Men.
But okay, so his latest thing that I saw was that he did this video. I'm just reading here from Conservative Review. It says Steven Crowder exposes tax-free income and racism of illegals, and they're right up of his latest video is that Democrats like to say that the U.S. needs illegal immigrants because they will do the jobs that our Americans are too proud to, and that they benefit because they pay into the system. In his latest video, CRTV host Steven Crowder decided to investigate that myth with shocking results. Crowder and Not Gay Jared, that's his co-host, this goes by Not Gay Jared,
very normal.
hired themselves out in regular
man.
It said hired themselves out as day laborers and competed with migrant workers for work. The illegal immigrant workers did not like that competition at all. So basically, Crowder and Not Gay Jared, like they do like a sting where Crowder like pulls up to like a group of day laborers in his like giant pickup truck to negotiate like for like a day's work, and then his friend who's with them underbids all of the Mexicans, and then he's like, okay, I want that guy, like you hop in the back, and then like they get Mexicans in the back of the truck and then ask for their papers and then yell at them when they don't have them and shit. So I want to just play you a little of this video because it was
Please don't.
sick of it. Okay.
This is also
just for context.
This is also a classic bit from the Tom Green show, which was 1,000 times funnier, I'm sure, which was called Undercutter's Pizza, where he'd follow around a pizza delivery man to houses and then offer a pizza while the delivery guy was up at the door for half the price. And then,
wait, I remember.
Yeah,
The Man Show also did a bit like this, where they pulled a day laborer and then like took him to get a manicure and shit, and just hang out for a day.
Yeah, so he's a fucking thief.
All right, we're going to play only a little bit of this.
These individuals don't necessarily have a great affinity for American pride, paying taxes, white people, or good old competition.
Same.
Hey, you guys have papers? You guys have papers? I need papers. Do you have papers? It's no call ice, you motherfuckers!
So if you caught that there, that was using mariachi music after they literally just said, "We'll call ICE on you, motherfuckers," to some Mexican day laborers.
Hilarious.
Crowder, yeah, great bit, right?
Great.
Really,
One of the-
really
one of the
funny.
greats.
Yeah.
Very funny.
So that's Crowder, and I saw that, and honestly, it turned my stomach so fucking much. But I remembered that Crowder had a great article a while ago about
virginity.
About virginity, yeah. About how he got married the right way.
Yeah.
And I think I think it goes a little something like this. So this is the headline here. This is the Fox News opinion. Waiting till the wedding night, getting married the right way, by one Steven Crowder. And the headline, of course, there is a photo of him and his lovely bride. He goes, as anyone who's read my abstinence column here at Fox News Opinion can guess, and abstinence column, of course, does have a hyperlink, and I clicked it. And this goes straight to just another article from 2 years prior that says, why not having sex might be good for you. And he says here, sex. Some of us do it. Most of us like it. And we all think about it. A lot. I know I do. Though I was once told that it was normal. Getting busy really isn't the taboo subject that it once was. So he goes on to talk about how, abstinence is the only taboo left. And if you tell people that you're abstinent, they think that you're not cool. But that's because
that's a checkered handkerchief.
Yeah. So he says, as anyone who's read my abstinence column can guess, my wedding is something I've looked forward to for quite some time. After having tied the knot at the end of August, I can now say beyond all shadow of a doubt that it was everything I'd hoped and prayed that it would be since childhood. I'd also prayed to be bitten by a radioactive spider and develop sticky hands, but I was an idiot. That's it. That's humor.
Oh,
He's just keeping it light and
Okay.
funny there.
All right.
That's funny.
He's a humorist in addition to being an abstinence columnist.
Yeah. Let me preface this column by saying, my wife, I have to get used to saying that.
Borat.
My wife and I not only waited sexually in every way, no, we didn't pull the Bill Clinton and technically avoid sex.
Hell yeah.
But we didn't shack up.
That's right, I busted a nut in her, fam.
We didn't shack up as live-ins, and most importantly, we courted each other in a way that was consistent with our publicly professed values. We did it right.
OTPHJ, over the pants hand job.
Yep.
Classic.
And he goes, feeling judged? I couldn't care less. You know why? Because my wife and I were judged all throughout our relationship. People laughed, scoffed, and poked fun at the young, celibate, naive Christian couple. I think they were poking fun at you and laughing at you.
No, they fucking didn't.
Well,
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, there's nobody...
Everyone avoided talking to you.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone does because you're just grotesque
Wait,
monster.
you guys know that Steven Crowder is from the show Arthur. You know that.
What?
Steven Crowder was one of the voices in the animated show Arthur.
What?
Yeah. Yes. He wasn't Arthur.
No, get the fuck out of here.
No, yes, he was.
True.
It's
He
true.
No, he's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
So he must be living off those residuals because
yeah.
certainly his show doesn't.
Well,
make
he wasn't like a main character. He was like a
no,
minor
one of
voice
the,
actor.
Yeah, he was like the bunny or I don't know, whatever.
No, he wasn't the bunny.
No, not the bunny. I don't know.
Star.
Yeah. He wasn't one of the stars. He was just like some voice actor.
No, there was Arthur the Aardvark, and then there was his sister DW the cunt, and
wow,
and she used to fuck everything up.
No, DW's a queen. She's in all of the memes. That
I think she was a CUNT, and I know Amber's not in the room right now, so I know I'm with my dogs right now. But I didn't like her.
What's your problem with a woman who speaks up for herself?
I don't know if she spoke up for herself. I think she used to fuck with Arthur's shit all the time. But he was going through some serious changes in life, and he was at an age where he was, maybe hormones were coursing through his body, and we've all seen the famous picture of him with the headphones on the side of his head when his ears were on the top of his head. We know he's just struggling with growing up, and his sister was always there just to highlight how big of a loser he was, and I think that's pretty jacked up. That's friggin'
well,
jacked up.
I don't know why your reading of the situation is centered on Arthur and his issues,
the protagonist.
and his values.
And
what about her issues and her inner life?
Aardvark women are never centered. It's true.
I think that she was a bully and a troll, and I think Arthur I identified with because I was around the same age as him, and I was probably going through some of the same aardvark problems.
Okay, so there was Arthur, there's DW.
Isn't it ironic how Arthur
DW was named after D.W. Griffith?
yeah.
Who was the famous racist filmmaker?
Yeah. If you thought the stuff that she did that made it into the show was bad, I think it's pretty ironic that Arthur is such a big hit on Black Twitter, whereas Steven is such a big hit with people who fantasize about murdering black people.
The crossover.
Yeah. Wait, so who was Steven on the show, Arthur?
We can look it up. I mean, he was one of the guys. Yeah,
I'm sure someone will figure it out. But
one of the ancillary. That show. They're still making that show, right?
Arthur.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I think they are.
Yeah, bring Steven back to Arthur.
My dad he said that we were in trouble because he was getting rid of the cable, but I think he got in a dispute with the fucking cable company, and he's like, "We're getting rid of cable. We're gonna read books," and then I just started watching PBS.
He was the voice of Brain on Arthur during seasons 5 and 6.
Yeah, he's not living up
he was the voice of Brain, but he didn't get Brain until he was 27.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, one of those things.
Well,
wow, going down the Arthur rabbit hole.
Fucks to
Aardvark hole, so to speak.
The Aardvark hole. Yeah. So back to Crowder here. He says, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, okay. So he's pretending that everyone mocked him, which, as Matt pointed out, A, nobody probably talked to him, and B, there's nobody in his social circle that would think less of him for being as big of an asshole as he is. So he goes, everyone said that we'd never make it to our wedding without shtupping, and if we'd be stealing Jewish valor right there.
Yeah. Well, it's a classic comedy speak.
And if we did, our wedding night would be awkward and terrible, they said. Turns out people couldn't have been more wrong. Looking back, I think that the women saying those things, he says women saying those things, not men. The women saying those things. The women saying those things felt like floozies they ultimately were. And the men, with their fickle manhood tied to their pathetic sexual conquests, felt threatened. So he goes on and on about this. And what I like about this story is that it's not just him bragging about how good his wedding night was with his virginal bride. Is that he talks about how he says the day after we ate breakfast at a local inn, we discussed how excited we were to start the rest of our lives together, how scary it was that everything was now so different. At the same time, we overheard the table next to us discussing their very own wedding night from the night prior. What a coincidence! The thing is, nothing's really changed, the bride said. Puzzled, my wife asked.
This happened.
Did you get married last night too? So did we. Congratulations, the other dame said. Yeah, we did, just last night.
Disgusting.
Where's the groom, my wife innocently, scratch that, naively asked. Oh, he's sleeping. There was no way he was coming out with me this morning. She paused and smirked. Let's just say he's got a lingering headache from a really good time last night. My heart sank. Firstly, that poor schmuck's good time was simply getting snookered, not enjoying the company of close family and long-lost friends with a clear head and clean conscience, not staring in awe at his beautiful new wife, wanting to soak in every glimmer of her eyes as she shot him heart-racing looks from across the dance floor, not taking all of the cheesy pictures as they cut the cake, even carrying her across the sweet threshold as they nervously anticipated their nightcap. He probably won't even remember any of it. Instead, he got smashed. He was that guy at his own freaking wedding. So I like that he's taking this opportunity to shit on this totally imaginary couple. Which, once again, didn't happen. And
that he made up.
But he just made up this person and just being like, because the guy's sleeping in, he just assumes that he was like too shit faced.
Also, what does that have to do with fucking? Right?
It's alcohol.
He's saying that alcohol is bad. He doesn't say that premarital sex is bad.
Well,
I mean, he should just convert to Wahhabism.
Yeah,
if he
it's true.
cares that much about alcohol.
So he goes on and on. He says, then I realized something. Our wedding was truly a once-in-a-lifetime event. It was a God's honest celebration of two completely separate lives now becoming one, physically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Everything that made us who we were individually was becoming what bonded us together. Our family travel. So, like, blah, 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 blah. I'm glad he had a wonderful wedding. I'm glad he's so happy with his wife or whatever, but I like that he needed to invent a theoretical other couple to shit on, and then he just goes at the end and says, your wedding can be the most memorable night of your life, or just another party. Oops, did I just make a judgment? You're darn right I did.
Oh, bitch, go off. I mean, isn't this just all conservatism? You do something that's uncomfortable and shitty and kind of sucks, and then to justify why you're doing it, why you're following these completely arcane, weird rules that, like, if you want to follow them, fine, but you think you're a better person for having done them. Like, you have to invent people that are being mean to you.
Like, I genuinely
I don't give a
care
shit. Yeah.
at all if you want to remain abstinent until wedding and you want to have that kind of relationship. I don't know anyone who would judge someone for that if that's what they've chosen to do. I will laugh and judge at fucking a piece of shit like Steven Crowder every time he opens his mouth because first of all, I don't believe him and his wife were actually virgins until marriage. Second of all, he's only doing this and writing this so that he can call women who don't wait until have marriage floozies and harlots and say that the other pathetic men were just, weak compared to me because, my cock got in there first. No one else has ever been in there but me.
So, Will, if I recall correctly, Stephen, his original grift was he was like a comedian, right? Like a stand-up comic.
Yeah. He was like a conservative comic.
Yeah, conservative comic. And then he did this abstinence column, I guess, and he keeps alluding to being a Christian, but never really specifying it. So, any of these values are just skin deep. And then after Breitbart happens, he realized that, the real grift is in this the shock videos. Yeah. And so he started doing just the most execrable pranks against the most vulnerable people in society.
Well, it's like the video he just did with these day laborers where he's like, fact one, they hate white people. Fact two, and then he goes on about how $400 a day, that's 50. He'll do a little math here. Yeah. That's $50,000 a year, tax free. And I'm like, good. I hope they're getting $50,000 a year.
They're absolutely not getting.
Yeah, they're not. Exactly. Do you think they're working
they're working every
day,
fucking day. Yeah.
This is an obsession that's on the right, but I also see it on on Imgur people about not about day laborers, but about homeless people.
Yeah,
that's you shouldn't give money to homeless people. They make $25 an hour. Yeah. It's everyone is I'm in the know. If I go to a large urban area, I don't give money to the homeless people because it's all a scam. And from my perspective, I think if you're gonna sit on the sidewalk and just kind of look dour hour after hour, then I think that's worth $25 an hour.
Who gives a shit? People make $100 million a year because they were just really good at selling, just tricking people into buying these shitty financial instruments. If just some guy, if he's gonna pay the price of flattening his nuts, fine, I don't care. People grift the system way worse than that. At least he's spending it on something cool like Fent. And not,
my friend's a mind freak street magician, and
the guy who broke his dick.
Yeah, he broke. Our friend. Yeah. He's some might call what he does a grift, but I think it's pretty cool.
But it broadly, Crowder, he's gone through several iterations. Yeah. But his main one is that he was trying to be the conservative who has the bite of the political comedy apple.
Yeah.
But they can never get their teeth around it, And I guess I'm wondering there have been attempts at it, there have been stabs at this, but
after that video,
Red Eye,
Red Eye, and that kind of thing, and it's just they're all sort of stillborn, and it's because it's both because they're genuine, the people that it's not like there are unfunny people with reactionary opinions out there, but it's just the people who they always line up for this are terribly terribly unfunny.
Well, I think we've discussed before, and Felix pointed out, and Matt, it's because they get too mad.
Yeah,
once they get too into the weeds of their joke, they start to realize how mad they are about how the libs run everything, and then they just end up doing a rant, which isn't actually comedy. And the other thing is that, of course, Steven Crowder thought he hit the big time with the help of Andrew Breitbart by becoming Fox News's resident impish, provocateur. Kind of a pre-Jesse Waters or parallel Jesse Waters, but they let him go because, as one Fox News executive said, he's not very funny.
No, he's not. And like from that video we saw, it's that's like the big payoff is just screaming, "I'm going to call ICE on you."
He said, "We're going to call ICE, motherfucker," over mariachi music.
It's like, you're a monster.
He got knocked
You're an
out.
execrable person.
He got knocked out by that trucker.
Old fat union guy.
Yeah,
that was the funniest thing he ever did. But like
that was the funniest thing he ever did.
I mean, like
I don't think it's I think that for me, too much of comedy, it works both ways. Because too much of comedy today, especially with Trump, is people just trying to make good points and people not trying to make jokes. So people are like trying to make these great points about like, oh, how Donald Trump's a traitor or whatever. But what you're really getting is just all these guys at fucking open mics in Williamsburg that are like, I'm going to take Trump down with this joke of mine, which is like really honestly fucking pathetic. And, and also, I don't know. I think that like it doesn't work. I think it works sort of both ways. I think that, you see it with Dennis Miller. He's trying to make jokes about Obama, like by like dropping like Peloponnesian War like references, and he thinks like that's really gonna bring down the fucking house, bro. But like, yeah, it's pretty pathetic. But I think it's also the sad thing is that it's sort of happening on the left or whatever you want to, not the other side, like the
both sides do it.
I think John Oliver's show is like well researched, but I don't know if I find it funny. And like, are you really good? Like, if you have 30 minutes, are you gonna really have enough time to be funny and to make good points? I think it's like it's like that's not really like that good of an idea.
Remember the half-hour news hour from when the Daily Show was really like the prime Jon Stewart. Like, no matter what you think of his politics, he was actually like a very good comedian for that format. So conservatives were like, well, we can have a funny show too. And then the half-hour news hour, which was just all these like bewildered birthright ladies who were like, Democrats have a new tax plan. It's for Monica Lewinsky to give a blowjob. It was so bad. It was kind of endearing. But then now, like, Trevor Noah's in there, and his punchlines and everything, they're as clumsy and like overextended and self-righteous as half-hour news hour. So I'm really sad
that I kind of got tired. I like Jon Stewart, and I think he was doing that job at doing 30 minutes or 22 minutes of new stand-up every night that's been written for you. It's not an easy job. Like what Trevor Noah is doing isn't easy. Like they both do it well, and they're both like polished, even if the writing isn't always the best. Like I admire like what they're able to do, but like once Colbert started, I thought that it was like doing really satire in a way that like American comedy hasn't really been able to do in so long. And it's such a bummer that character doesn't exist anymore, because he was able to actually make jokes about what was going on, but do it through the guise of this like lost like imbecile. Yeah. And like that's,
seeing where Colbert has turned into really tells you how just barren and awful the political quote unquote comedy scene during Trump is now.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Somebody made a joke to me the other day after the god-awful thing where he was complaining about people saying that Trump is a symptom. He's obviously like the disease because, it's not like Trump is just the apotheosis of a million cultural trends that have been going on for years. No, he is this singular thing that has destroyed American discourse, which is just an insane thing to think. And when you look at how insightful and incisive Colbert used to be on this point, and how he was making fun of this very trend during the Bush years. It's sort of baffling. But somebody said, no, you don't get it. On his old show, Colbert was satirizing a dipshit conservative. Now he's satirizing dipshit liberals. And that's really the only way to make sense of his show.
I mean, I think he's brilliant. Like
Stranger to the Can.
Oh,
one of the funniest shows, one of the most underrated comedy shows of the last few years.
I completely agree. But I just miss that character so much, and I think that I know that his ratings are good now because everyone's like fuck Jimmy Fallon. Like he's like trying to do Jay Leno, like both sides are crazy. Kind of. The left is crazy and the right is crazy too. And I don't know.
Have you hear about the Proud Boy?
Yeah, seriously, folks, watch out! Antifa are putting razor blades in apples. Seriously, folks, have you noticed that it's always interracial couples in soup ads? What's wrong with a white couple? Kevin, you know I'm not racist.
Oh, the best is when he used to...
Kevin, I gotta say, being racially intelligent is not being prejudiced.
Yeah, the best was when
Kevin, you hear about this bell curve? You hear about that?
He used to do that bit jaywalking, like out on the street, like his man on the street thing. And he like asked people like civics questions, and when they did get it wrong, he'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. Who was the first president? They'd be like, I don't know, Thomas Jefferson. He'd be like, look at this fucking idiot on Hollywood Boulevard, where the smartest people in the world are supposed to be. That's the best thing with that fucking star shit. That meme, that star meme is like, that just Hollywood Boulevard should just be fucking bulldozed. It is the worst place in America. That's like where like the fucking like homeless Spider-Man is, like and fucking like athlete's foot Pikachu and like all those like fucking caricatures that you have to like pay money to take pictures with. It's like
Times Square.
It's like Times Square. It's like people are going to honor the president in Times Square. It's like the most fucking pathetic.
I gotta say, when the day that some dipshit going there, either way, like to shit on the Trump star or to polish it, gets like stabbed by one of those people dressed up like a superhero, that will make it all worthwhile.
Yeah. Like hypodermic needle Elmo.
Superman breaks somebody's neck while they're spray painting the Trump star. That'll make it all worthwhile.
Antifa Deadpool owns Trump supporter.
Oh, that's the next thing is all these people have to dress up. Like there has to be like a Black Bloc Neo, a Proud Boy, fucking Cable from X-Men. Make Hollywood Boulevard make that the battleground. That's the only place where they can fight.
I really want to meet Oathkeeper Batman on his hover round.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to do this this Ben Shapiro Virgin article?
Let's do it, boys.
Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. Okay, so I was doing Crowder and his Virgin article, which I didn't believe, and then I remembered Ben Shapiro, show favorite, friend of the show, a constantly recurring guest. He also had a Virgin article. He had a whole book about this, and unlike Steven, I actually believe Ben.
Yep.
This is in Town Hall from 2005 under the headline "Rescuing a Generation." This is Ben Shapiro.
This is an historic article.
Ben Shapiro. This is a historic post here. He says, as I explained in my new book, Porn Generation, how social liberalism is corrupting our future. In today's America, being a proud virgin is no easy task. Those with values are under attack. In a culture that treasures tolerance above morality. It's no wonder that because of my outspoken advocacy of traditional morality in general, and of virginity in particular, I've become a favorite target of internet leftists who often refer to me as, quote, the Virgin Ben. He goes, the internet is riddled with writing like this, quote, in Ben's case, it is helpful to remember that some people choose celibacy while others have it thrust upon them. Poor Ben. He no more chose abstinence than Clarence Thomas chose to be black. Yep. And then another one, the Virgin Ben also apparently has never had a really great Saturday night. The Virgin Ben, indeed. This guy's interview so completely reeks of repression that I almost feel violated reading it. Like I stepped in someone else's wet dream. It's freaking eerie, man. So he just goes on to list all the things people have said about him. And he goes, such heated, inarticulate, and unreasoned hatred for moral standards should not be shocking. Social liberalism seeks to promote a live and let live society, wherein all types of deviant behavior is tolerated and accepted. And by deviant behavior, he means getting your dick wet before your wedding night. Or I'm sorry, I don't mean to make that male-oriented. It means, having sex before your wedding night. Experiencing the wonders of magic of human sexuality before a priest or rabbi gives you
He also means gay people.
Obviously he means anyone, So he goes, those on the left have thrust their notion of a civilized, amoral society upon all of us. The fact of the matter is that a live and let live directly contradicts the notion of a communal society. We all have to abide by certain rules to live together. An amoral society minimizes the rules which we live together.
Is this the fucking doctor from Hell? This is exactly what he said.
Any change in those rules is bound to affect us all.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no,
none
it's
of this
not.
is none of this
it
is
really,
true.
It really
you also don't support a communal society.
Yeah.
Support some kind of small government fucking libertarian psychotic thing.
This reminds me a lot of that. Do you remember that kid Pruane2 Forever, that YouTube account?
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was like this little kid that was growing up on the internet and not that self-aware, but he had some amazing videos. My friend Brandon Wardell used to be really obsessed with him when he was in high school. Friend of the show. But he had one that was like, hey everyone, stop looking at porn. I'm sick and tired of all these guys looking at porn. Just go find a girl and have sex with her. It's like pretty much as like advanced and nuanced as Ben's argument here.
And he's going on he goes, by discarding traditional morality in favor of amoralism, we have catered to the lowest common denominator. Social liberals have taken control of our culture through music, film, television, and other mass media. R-rated films today often include softcore pornography. Television shows like Friends promote a fun-filled, promiscuous lifestyle with no consequence. Friends is his example of rampant amorality.
Yeah,
why didn't Rachel get scabies at any point? This bullshit.
Friends.
What the fuck? Like, should they have stoned Monica to death? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Someone tell me how they're living in such a nice apartment.
How come they're on time to everything in New York City?
He continues. Rap music is misogynistic,
Hell yeah.
glorifying its own degradation. Pop music holds aloft cultural wrecking balls like Madonna as empowered feminist heroes. He's writing this in 2005.
That's
by
so
the way.
old.
Friends and Madonna were like 10 years gone by that point.
Oh, even more. Like being like the moral panic about Madonna was like 1984. Like a virgin.
Yeah.
He's just copying grown-ups.
Advertisers.
He is. That's his whole thing.
That's his
It's like he's just been inside reading like Edmund Burke his entire life, so he watches Married with Children, and he's like, "Oh, this is what culture is. This is what we're still talking about."
Ben was definitely one of those. I listen to real music, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones.
I listen to a little guy named Beethoven and Civil War marches.
Ben also says, advertisers take advantage of sex sells phenomenon to push our culture to new lows, while teen magazines for young girls push boy craziness and dispense dating and sex advice. Ben is worried that teenage girls are too boy crazy.
Oh man, he's just copying grown-ups.
Yeah.
He's just like he's just one of those kids that was
speak and say like puppets who just says what like the adults are in his community around him.
I feel so bad. Because those kind of kids used to just get bullied so bad. I mean, he's a piece of shit, obviously, but like there was a kid I went to school with that was like that, who shit his pants in third grade, and like he was one of those like listen to the teachers, guys. And then like
that's Ben, and that was Ben's original grift, was the college student who's actually conservative and like sexually conservative for an audience of like 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
Who all think like his bow tie and his roller backpack are just incredibly cute. And so he writes books that are like porn generation.
Yeah, I mean that's
well,
all.
He just wants to meet the granddaughters.
I mean, yeah, like going back to Steven Crowder, if you like look at his Facebook, like there's like an all right amount of views on his videos. Of course, he does like 1/10 of what any Let's Play guy does. But
like Minecraft.
Yeah. all the Battlefield guys that I like to watch, but I do have 3 favorites. But you think about it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, they're just like a lot of 60-year-olds who like do now know how to use a computer, and of course, the first thing they'll see is like the very good boy who likes the grown-ups and tells nice jokes
He's
about the
mother's good boy.
Muslim rape gangs
He's
and
a
like
hep cat.
not jacking off. Yeah.
You know, from there, he became, he got made fun of a lot and, like, just wrote a bunch of articles like this that are just quoting, like, fucking Daily Kos and Fire Dog Lake, just ripping on him.
Yeah.
And from there, he wore that as a badge of honor, where everyone's like, Ben, you're pathetic. Ben, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Ben, they didn't send the fucking weapons of mass destruction to Iran from Iraq. What the fuck are you talking about? And he took that to mean, oh, he's so low that he must be correct. And his new shtick is, I'm the logic guy. I'm facts don't care about your feelings. I do facts and reason. But it's not facts. It's sophistry.
The best, one of the best Ben Shapiro videos is when he's on that dais with this trans woman who's in the OJ documentary. You remember the helicopter pilot?
Helicopter camera.
So do you remember when Ben was like telling her like that she's not a woman, and he's like, yeah, facts don't care about your feelings, and then she's like, you better watch your tongue, sweetie, because you could leave here in a stretcher. And he's like, this woman has she has threatened my life. I will be telling the
police. I think that sums up Ben. Just perfectly.
It's just fucking tattletale. That kid who shit his pants, like I think he's like a research doctor now, but like literally everyone from my 3rd grade's like, oh yo, you know what Eric's up to? It's like, oh, you mean Eric is shit his pants? I think like no matter what he accomplishes in life, he'll always be the kid who shit his pants.
I mean, that's probably the plurality of the conservative movement. It's the roller backpack kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz is the kid who, starting in 8th grade, shows up to class in suits and is like, "Good morning, my dear sir," to the teacher, and has just been called so many times.
His like senior quote was like, "I'm going to take over the world." Like those kids that think that they're like evil masterminds.
Like Ted Cruz.
In like 7th grade, my friend took like this summer math class so he wouldn't have to take a requirement going into 8th grade, and he told me about this kid who was like,
I'm not taking it because I don't want the requirement. I want to advance. I want to be a genius.
And that kid's probably Stephen Miller.
Yeah,
like, he probably works in the White House.
Yeah, those kids that think they're evil masterminds are the best. Like the puny humans kids. Yeah. You simple humans. It's like, shut the fuck up, Jared, dude. Like, we're trying to learn.
Just last thing about Ben and his assault on the porn generation. He says here, we live in an America that makes Paris Hilton a cultural icon and Jenna Jameson a New York Times bestselling author. I bring that up only because Ben and Jenna are now Twitter buds. Yeah. And they chat on Twitter because Jenna Jameson apparently loves Ben Shapiro now. She's a big Shapiro head.
But I thought she
got engaged to some like Israeli diamond dealer, and now she's just straight up Lakudnik.
You know who she dated before?
MMA guy.
Tito Ortiz, the dumbest fighter in existence. He
who spoke at the RNC, did he?
Yeah, that was Dana White. Dana White spoke at the RNC and was like,
but he spoke at Trump rallies.
He spoke at Trump rallies, and it wasn't political. He was just like, when the UFC was down in the dumps, Donald Trump said, "I'm going to come to fucking fight," and that's what he's going to do for us. And I was like, all right, that's like less crazy than the other shit.
He's going to come. Donald Trump is going to show up at all of our pageants.
But what I love about like that Ben wrote a whole book about pornography is like, imagine the research.
Like not watching porn?
Yeah. All the not
he had just
watching pornography.
I went undercover in the big bus.
I took a job as the bang bus driver for several sordid months.
Those girls are not amateurs. They're clearly professional. I've seen them at other works.
I don't like to compare ourselves to our heroes in arms protecting us against radical Islam, but I took a hot loan to the back of the neck.
But I think it's really touching, and I think it's really nice that Ben and Jenna are friends now.
Yeah.
And like Jenna is like she tweets about like campus snowflakes, like that's her whole like.
Wait, but I thought she was real Trump, but he's real never Trump.
Yeah, but that they believe the same shit. They believe the same shit, you know.
Yeah, like there's no real cognitive dissonance there.
It's really just about who's better at brutalizing poor people and Muslims. That's really that's that's what the Never Trump movement is for guys like Ben. That Trump isn't going to efficiently terrorize people in the way that he likes.
He's too dumb to carry out the great purge that needs to happen of the undesirables.
There are levels of intricacies of the Gideon protocol that he cannot even begin to understand.
All right, guys. A-okay? Adam,
Yeah,
again for
thank you
joining
so
us,
much.
man.
Thank you, boys.
Always a pleasure.
We were so excited to do the return, Adam's return.
By the way, Adam. Adam's creeping up on Derek Davison.
Yeah, that's right.
As the number one Chapo guest.
Derek Davison?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Adam and Derek are both Rand Corporation scholars,
and they're both Middle East experts.
Yeah. Well, I do have a degree in Middle Eastern Studies, which I got before the Arab Spring. So everything I learned is pretty useful, guys. All the books ended in like question marks. Like they were like, "Do we know what happens next? Not sure."
All right, guys. Cheers. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.